This should be working. Hey, look at that. I think the stream and the computers and the related technology are finally stable. I'm just curious to see how long the delay is, but I think everything is working. It took a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of tuning to get everything aligned and functional, but I think we got something going. I'm just going to mute my headphones. Actually, I'm not going to mute my headphones. I'm going to make sure my audio stream is acceptable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! That sounds awesome. Good. Finally. So, if anybody was trying to watch the last the last podcast, it was an absolute technological nightmare. So I actually spent a fair bit of time, energy, and money to upgrade the PC and started using that 100% for the podcast and video streaming and everything. So, good morning, everybody. It is an absolute terrible day outside. I flipped the curtains up, but it's just gray, ugly, wet. So, we're going to do 2 unboxings and quick setups today. The E-Flite F-4 Phantom and then the 1500, the EC-1500. So, wow, it's lazy. The Phantom is a plug and play, and the 1500 is a bind and fly. And the logic behind that is the bind and fly should be pretty simple for us playing, should have no issues connecting. When I fly the EDFs, I do like to have battery telemetry, so I use my FR Sky, and I got my, I have a X8R in there, and a battery telemetry module. So, yoo-hoo! All right. Didn't we tell you? There are no F-16s. There are no F-16s in the fleet. There will never be another F-16 in the fleet unless it's like this amazing color. Maybe the other ones. I got some jets to play with, so I've got the screen going. So DJ André in the house. Thank you. I'm gonna try and get this one closer so I can see what everybody's saying. But yeah, it's been a really awesome week. Lots of stuff going on, so I'm finally able to open these up. I've got some cameras going. I've got the secondary camera, so this should pop over, and we should see this working. Yep. It's a little close. It's a little zoomed in. I'll have to change that camera eventually, but I can go to a full screen on it so we can see all the lovely equipment that the F4 comes with. We'll go back to the main cam, and we'll stick with this for a while. Got the streaming camera work for those people interested in the technology, because that was something that someone asked me about. I actually had to use 2 USB hubs to extend it, because the PC is all the way in the back, and I didn't want to move it. So, woo! And is your bank account empty now, Bill? Yes. Actually, no. Love this time of year. It is the you know, my rotation around the sun, so the families were really awesome to me and kind of just help the pot out. Yeah, so and a big shout out to Great Hobbies. They sweetened the deal and cut me a nice break on buying 2 big kits. Why local? I ran the numbers on a couple of the other airplanes, and shipping and customs and everything, it's just too expensive. So I think my strategy of, while reducing the overall intake of the fleet over the year, the strategy is quite simple. I'm going to, use my trip to July to bring home something special, and then the end of the season. I'm really looking into the turbine stuff, and that is an expensive adventure. So I think it's going to be EDFs for a while. The F4, it kind of just struck me as pretty awesome, and if anybody was watching on social media, besides the F4, there's a Havoc in the fleet now. This is just waiting on the canopy so I can fix up the nose and everything. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. So all of a sudden, September turned into a 3 E-Flite kind of week, so that's pretty cool. Without further delay, let's crack open this box. The F4, let's see, look at the specs, what they're talking about for batteries. I think it's a pretty good range. I wonder if they got it on this side. I'm trying not to knock anything, and I'm very aware of the microphone. I tried to dampen the mic, and they just got all their history and stuff like that. So I didn't go, as I say, with the bind and fly. I went with the plug and play, and I'll run my own stuff. I'm just trying to figure out if this says what kind of battery. They talk about, sorry, I don't want to get too far away from the microphone. Battery wise, they talk about a 4,000 to 5,000, so I'll probably run my 4,500s, my Zippy Compacts 40C500s, or 4,500, sorry. Customs really sucks lately, like $80 a plane. Oh, far worse, far worse. We pay $13 per, on taxes, we pay $13 per 100 plus custom fees plus an advancement fee and all this stuff. So stuff can add up really quick. That's why batteries even have been a little touchy. Flying last weekend with the Tundra, the 3S Tundra, I was noticing my old A-specs, which are now pushing 4.5 years old, almost 5, really laggy and just sag. One was really bad to the point I did a circuit and landed it right away. So yeah, I wish battery tech would catch up, and that's kind of the draw to some of the stuff, and kind of one of the reason I went back to the flying clubs to consider flying gas or nitro or something like that, just to push the times up. I found the flight in conjunction, flying my electric plane with the gas planes, actually very frustrating because I couldn't hear what the heck my own airplane was doing, right? So I was like, so I'm on the fence on that one. And then, like I said, the price on the turbine entry, I think was approaching $4,000 US. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. I think it's going to be a very long burn, long savings project. So, all right. I haven't looked. Okay, I looked at it real quick. I didn't take it out of the box, so this is the first time I get to actually do this. So we're all here live experiencing the unboxing. I'm sorry about the scraping noise. All right, let's go. I guess that'll work. And we'll do it like this. I'm trying not to knock everything over. The box is gonna go flying. Love that sound. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Whew, it's in there. Wow. Cool. Alright. We'll get rid of this box in a sec, and we'll go through some of the specs. Bear with me. Woo, neat. Alright, there we go. Okay, so another reason for the Phantom is I was really wanting an 80 mil. This is a horrible shot. I was really wanting an 80 mil jet into the fleet, and this is what this one is. Let's see if I can go for some of the specs. There we go. It is a 12 blade 80 mil, probably an FMS blade, I would assume. ESC is 100 milliamps, which is 100 amp ESC, 7 Metal Gear servos. Obviously I don't have a receiver, and like I said, it takes a 6S 4000 to 5000, so I'll run my 45s. Probably can stick the 62 in there as well. We'll have to wait and see. So coffee required. I hear you, Victor. I had a coffee this morning already. I've had a dark roast. Not bad. I think I like my medium roast, but yeah. So, and anybody noticing the new interface? I've been playing around in OBS, Open Broadcast System, and having some fun. Let's move this without touching the microphone. Ooh, big box. And actually, I was kind of impressed. The boxes fit in the backseat of the car, so I had no issues getting them home. All right, let's turn this thing around, cut it open, and get the peak cam in there, the second cam, so we can have a look. Look, yee-hoo! I'm pumped about this one. I wasn't sure if I wanted an F4, and it just kind of looked cool enough, and I'm like, all right, let's have a look at this thing. I'm just reading the comments as I'm slicing and dicing. Hobby knife. Maker knife from David Vindestol. So the flying club experience was pretty cool actually, and there were actually quite a number of flight test planes there, so that was cool. So I'll bring a couple of my notes over the coming weeks. How's the audio as I'm moving around, folks? Is it still working? You guys can still hear me and everything? Because I'm playing around with the setup. Like I said, it took the better part of the morning for me to figure this whole thing out. Looks like the stream is nice and clean, and everything is rolling. Yay! All right. Microphone. I did try and dampen the microphone because I know there was a comment about the springs moving around. But yeah, it just kind of flopped over. All right, let's try this secondary camera thing and see if it works. So we go. And we should have that full camera on the screen. It is super zoomed, so maybe I'm gonna have to go find a 1080 size camera or something with a different aspect ratio, but it is in there nice. It is well packed. I haven't opened this thing up yet, so you guys are seeing this for the first time just like I did. I know a ton of other people have reviewed this aircraft already, but hey, right? All right. Now we'll go with the single cam. I'll have to change that aspect ratio or try one of my action cams instead of that guy now that I've got the webcam working the way I need it to go. The club by oh, snobby. They were pretty cool. They were pretty responsive. I will wait and see, what they want me to take as far as, if I have to do their flying tests and everything, which is fine. I flew my aircraft. I flew my Tundra with 0 issues. Flew by all the rules and everything. I'm there because, like I said, I want to try balsa. And eventually I want to step up to gas or turbine or something. So outside of the normal ones, it's a slightly more open space to fly. I also found this summer that with the park, there's all kinds of sporting events and everything. So it's just a stable place to go fly, so 10-15 minute more of what I already drive. So I'm like, it can't hurt to keep going. So no bags, good or bad. All right. So, first wing. I like that gray. I know I have a thing about gray airplanes, but now that I fly with my glasses on, it's probably a little better. So, tiny ailerons, tiny flaps. I think is there a secondary flap? I'm not sure, but they're almost the same size. Where's that secondary camera? If I position this just right, I can show you what I mean. Let's try this view. Yeah, the split. That was a split camera work. Cool. All right. So you can kind of see it's not a huge aileron. A little bit of crushing on the end of the wing, the control surfaces, right at the top. So I wonder if there's a spar that was put in there, or someone's fingers were just too aggressive on my airplane. Kid. So that looks nice. I like the tone. It's got a sheen to it too, so that's kind of nice. I've got 2 gassers. I'll let you fly one, André. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that. Man, I haven't flown a fuel aircraft in a long time. I should see if my buddy still has it and get my old LT. No, I don't want my old SIG back. Goodness, I've moved on from there. Number 113. Ooh. Yeah. This is looking good. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this stuff. I almost need like another table, so I'm going to put these on the bench and put them aside, and I'll pick them up after. Oh, and speaking of projects, everybody see the big Spitfire in the background. I watched Peter's video where he flew Dale's Pike, and I was impressed with just how much torture that plane took. So I'm recommitting to flying my 6S setup, that beautiful motor and that big ESC and everything in that aircraft, and trying it out long term. That's probably going to be my first Balsa ARF power supply and everything, so that plane won't fly forever. The wing is over here. Actually, hold on. For those questioning the strength, now I've got a landing gear in there right now, but I'm holding this thing on the end of the tip, of the end of the wing, and it's taking the load, so it's going to be able to deal with some flex and everything, so it's kind of interesting. No spar, there's no center spar, it's just the way it's been joined together, so I don't know yet. All right, first little bag of trinkets. All right, there's some foam. Foam pieces. Let's not throw them at the camera like last time. Alright, another foam piece. This is in there clean. Everybody seems to be doing a really good packing job lately. Oh, manual. What's the thought on the manual lately? I don't mind downloading the PDF. I always download the PDFs. I kind of keep the manual for the first flight, and then after that, just for a CG reference, and then I just tend to store them, so if I ever sell the plane, I can hand them off to the next owner. But I think the PDF files are usually my preferred reading these days. Alright, woohoo, drop tank. And the drop tank, armament. Obviously, like most of my aircraft, I probably will never fly with the armament. It's just super draggy. It looks cool, but I find them really draggy and not really, you know, doesn't really help the aircraft fly through the air. Missiles. Woo! Are they Rams? ARAMs? I don't know, were they around back then when this thing flew? I like the F4. Kind of like the Voodoo more, but that's a Canadian thing, I guess. Alright. I'll grab the second camera and you can see how everything else is packed. Oh, I still got another piece of foam to remove. I really didn't think about this unboxing part because I don't know where to put all this stuff. I'm going to keep the screws, keep the manual. Let's pull this other piece of foam out, which releases the aircraft. It's nice, it's got a poppable nose. Let's go to... It's got a removable nose cone, so for transport, at least you know you can get this thing in and out of your car with, you know, if you need to save some space. It looks really nice. It looks really, really, really nice in there. Nice. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed so far. There's... Oh, they got a little silver and gray. I like the scheme too. It should be. I'm thinking it's gonna be pretty nice to track through the air. It's got some nice colors to it. Obviously, active rudders or elevators. Sorry. There you go. Back to the main camera so I can get my hands free. Why even? Why? Lack of room in the car. So what's the difference? Well, geez, man, the cost for E-Flite, I priced it. I priced the L39 because I really wanted that one. I thought that would have been a good ED. The free wing also is a 90 mil, if I'm correct, which is a lot bigger capacity, larger size, and everything. So I just, and Great Hobbies, again, cut me a really nice deal. So, you know, so I just went with this route, and just it was available. Unfortunately, like I said, the free wings, if I want to get a free wing from Motion next summer, if I look at any of the other ones, if I don't buy something used, I will probably do it then. That way I can just save on the shipping costs. The free wing aircraft, it was approaching $100 US, I want to say, for shipping. So you guys in the US, you're lucky. Look at that spar. You guys are super lucky because the shipping is free, where for me it's $100 plus taxes and duties and everything. So nose cone, as I mentioned, removable. Is bigger for sure. I fly mine. Yes, on 8S. That was another option too. It's funny because I was looking at those what are those HDS? The Vipers on 12S. I was actually contemplating that over the turbine option because I figured it might be slightly more economical. But I have so many nice jets to fly, and I'm really liking the look of the Havoc. So I'm actually probably going to have to purchase more high capacity 6S batteries, but we'll see. And the tail. Ooh, it's not bad at all. I like the colors. I like the colors a lot, actually. Let's go back to the main cam. That is not bad at all. Reference. I'm going to pull out. Yeah, I got to change this camera. I'm going to try this on my 1080 cam versus a little webcam and just see if I can get a better wide field of view for you guys later on, because this is working, but it's not as good as I had hoped. That's not bad at all for the rudder. It's got its tag. Obviously the elevators. Hey, Phone Boy RC. How you doing? Good morning. I don't have a coffee down here. I do have water. I had enough coffee already. Should be out for a walk, but like I said, it is pouring. It is ugly. It's disgusting. So perfect day to open up this plane. All right, big moment. I think I've got everything out of this box. When's the maiden for this one? If I fly this, if tomorrow's weather looks good, I'll get out. I still got to do the redo the 810, which obviously didn't go up because of the ESC. Oh, there's another tank in here. Does this thing have 3 tanks? Oh, this would have the center fuel and another drop, I guess. That's what's going on, right? Where'd I put those other ones? That's a lot of foam to carry underneath the wing. Alright, nothing there, nothing there. Nothing else in the pockets. It all looks clear. Alright, we're going to pull this frame, pull the fuselage out. This is always the fun part. Grab it from the canopy, popped out. I don't think there's any carnage. Alright, let me move this box out of the way, and then we'll resume. Put this thing down here. Wow, it's not bad looking at all, folks. Alright, hold on. Nothing underneath? Nope. Alright, let's get that box out of the frame. Alright, bring this thing up. Let's have a look. Look at this. Yeah, I want to try and fly it. I've kind of promised myself I would get into flying these things right away and stop waiting so long. I have my share. So 8S Victor, are you flying like 2 4s, or do you run an 8S pack? That's always been a question of mine, because that would be pretty easy. I don't know if it's more economical to do that, but it seems like it'd be a good idea. I guess it all depends on the aircraft if it's got room as well. Nice canopy. Probably something to watch for with all the black on it, so it doesn't get cooked during the warmer months, which I won't have to deal with for a bit. Lots of leads. Are they labeled? They're probably not labeled in here, are they? That's unfortunate. Okay. Velcro with the soft side to the battery. The leads aren't labeled. Isn't that just lovely? Thank you, E-Flite. So that's the problem. I actually don't think I've ever purchased a E-Flite plug and play, but this might be a little bit of plug something into the tester and determine what it is, because it is not labeled. Now, what I did in my radios, I've already gone and I've so this is the gear retract sequencer, so that takes care of that. I've gone into the aircraft already, or my radio, sorry, and set up a model, so it works right away, but that's funny. Here, we'll get in there with the camera and you can see what I mean. No labels, just a whole spaghetti wire. Obviously, there's my gear sequencer. That's in there. I don't know how well this is working, but we'll try it. And then all the other stuff. I mean, it should be pretty simple, but you would think they would have labeled this stuff. Oh, well. Oh, wait. I retract that statement. Look at that. Rudder, throttle. All right. Elevator. There we go. Crises averted. That'll be easy. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll power everything up. Okay, good. Yes. I use ×2. Victor says he uses ×2 4S and ×2 6. Oh, okay, I got you. Interesting. So you to get the capacity, the flight time. So what are you like 4,000, like 2 4S 8,000 4,000s or something like that? Level gets jets and waits a year before. Yes, Eddie, I'm working on that. I'm well aware of my flaw, and I'll address that. So I have my radio. It's all ready to go. I'm going to put my actually for teching, I'll probably just hook in an EC5 to XT60 and just use a 4S for now while I'm setting up, and just plug everything. So look at that. I'm gonna look at the manual and set up the elevator and the rudder and everything. I know, I'm looking at a manual. Craziness. They don't even talk about the build, do they? They just say, okay, put the vertical fin in, put it in 2 screws. Put in the other piece, put in the other piece, put in the other piece. Easy peasy, folks. Let's get rocking. Alright, so the first thing is the elevator. So I'll put the rudder aside. Turn this, actually, and we haven't even looked at it. I haven't even shown off the airplane or nothing. Whoops, Phantom hit the microphone. So there are some foam missiles on the bottom mounted right into the fuselage. So that's that's something to think about for transport. Can I get that with the other camera? View 2. There you go. So that, I suppose, is something to think about. So we're probably going to build a piece of foam that I can just stick under there for transport. That's what I really liked about the Yak. It transports really well. You don't have to worry about the elevator or nothing. So that's something I'll have to watch for, especially these guys. So, big cheater hole. Look at that sucker. Whoa. So that's something I'll watch for 2 on my field, because I fly off a field that's the track is gravel, so I have to watch that. So I may be pulling that out and putting a piece of screen in there right away. Can we see that? That whole piece was probably just missed. Right there. Oh, bending around. Yeah, I'm gonna put a reference monitor up next time. That's not bad though. I mean, that's very easy to cover up with some screen mesh. I've done that before on aircraft. There's the landing gear cover, and then big fan. Ooh, nice looking fan too. See if I can get a shot of that. See if we see anything with that camera. Huh. And then you got your fake tail hooks and everything on this thing. That's not too bad of a looking of an aircraft. Let's go back to that main camera. There we go. It looks nice. It looks nice at all. I think the color won't be bad at all for tracking, especially with the red and everything. I'm hoping anyhow. You never know. Where did I put that nose gun? We'll put that on for fun. Just reading some of Victor's comments talking about his batteries. Yeah, it's I guess whatever works in the aircraft. It's all about finding the right CG, finding the right economical balance for buying these batteries. I'm looking at like I said, my 3S packs are due for replacement. I'm probably going to want to pick up some 4S 5000s for this aircraft, the 1500, and I'm considering some 6S 5000s. So it's potential it's going to be another expensive fall, but if I can wait till the spring, yeah, it'd be cool. I don't know how long I can wait on the 3S packs, and I've been looking at Amazon and a few other places. There just aren't any nice deals. All right, where did I put those screws? I'm going to put this guy over here, and we're going to getting to work and putting on the tail sections. Then I'll drop in the receiver, and then we'll program from there. So it looks like it's just 2 screws that go into the vertical stabilizer piece, and obviously they're like this and they're upside down, so I may get my bench out, not my bench, my little stand. A piece of foam in there. All right. So that slides on, and then you just glide it into place. There's my screws. So they provide you with a bunch of screws. Do they tell you what the size are? So they are M3 10 millimeters. And do they put the reference for the size of screws? I don't think they do. They didn't put in the manuals. Usually they have a nice photo of the screw so you can do a reference check for size. But they don't. So the 16s and the 20s, and then into the wings are the 20s. Wow. So there are at least 3 different size screws. 3 different sizes of screws that are in this, and it's a staple in the middle of the bag. That's just annoying as well. So you have the 10s, the 20s, and the 16s. So I'm going to put these all out on my bench, and I'm going to figure out what they are. So I'm thinking these are my 10s, and then here are the 20s. And the rest are the 16s. All right, through deduction, we got this. All right, so these are my 2 wings, and they look like they're 2 millimeter hex, 2 millimeter hex screwdriver. All right, 2 10s into the wing. I think I'm going to get my little plane bench, which is sitting back here. And we'll put this thing together split. This one, I picked this one first because this one with the radio setup will be the longest. I'm suspecting the 1500 will go together really quickly. Mat wise for this plane, I just picked, actually I duplicated the FMS Yak because I figured it had all the same. I pretty well run all my jets the same as far as configuration, and so split the flaps, the elevator, but the only thing I'll probably check is if I can run the nose gear on a separate channel, since I've got 8 channels on that radio. And the reason I do that is when I gear up, I disable the rudder effect on the gear actually, so it's not sitting inside the bay turning away. Just less wear and tear on various pieces, right? So. All right, next one. I should probably get like an overhead cam if I had more. If I get another USB hub and plug it in, I can get you guys an overhead view. But sometimes it's just easier just to wait a second while I do this. There you go. They line up really nice actually. Zero issues getting them in. Nice and smooth. Looks really good. And I guess, you know, and actually, if you're really freaked out about transport and worried about knocking off your elevator, I guess, it could very easily come out. This is probably one of those aircraft you could, in theory, keep the box if you wanted to. But I don't see, I tend to toss all the boxes these days because they just take up too much stuff. Remember to use proper torque technique. Thank you, Louise. Yes. Yes, I need to learn how to use screwdrivers. That's an old joke from a previous comment on one of my YouTube videos. All right. So that was easy. There's the elevator. Next is the spar. Sorry. All that noise. Nice fiberglass spar goes in. And then well, that technically goes in after the elevator goes on, so we'll flip that guy on. We'll do the rudder, the vertical stab, and the horizontal stab. If you want to get technical, I like this. It looks nice. It actually looks like a very attractive aircraft, so should sound good too. I spooled up the EDF on the last night for the Havoc, and that sounded really nice. Felt like it had a lot of punch. That was my first time first time firing up a E-Flite 80 mil, so it seemed to work really well. So we'll get that aircraft going. I'm just waiting on. Oh, nice. So they include a piece of tape, so I guess you can sticky tape down the elevator, the rudder servo when you're done. I'm going to connect this and find a good spot for it. I don't think I'll use any tape around the lead. Brown to brown. And just put that in and clear the other one. Stick it down. Actually, I'll just make sure I'm in a good spot first. And oh, I see. I think it connects to the wing. Might want to pull that back, eh? Yeah, so you're gonna route this under the mount, so it's in a better spot. Hold on. Noise is not too bad, so don't sweat it. Thank you, Eddie. Oh yeah, there's actually quite a lot. I'll show you here on the other camera. The rudder has a. They put a little bit of sticky tape. Let me grab the other cam so you can see what I'm seeing in there. So I had to route this underneath, so that's not too bad actually, and you can see the actuated work. So you can see what they came up with for the elevator. That's not bad looking. It's a hinge, so it's a hinge setup. That is pretty cool. Here I'm standing on my tippy toes. This is funny. But that's not bad at all. So that comes up and it looks like it'll clear pretty good. And then not bad at all. That's a pretty neat idea. Someone was doing their homework. Cool. I'm not seeing anything like that. Neat way to do it. All right, we'll try this again. Now that we got this guy back here, connect those two together. Nice. That one's in. I think I'm going to do this. Tuck that cable neat. I'm going to stick this to the airplane, and we'll see if this will slide in. I don't know if you can see this. Here, I'll get my camera again. This is neat. They've notched the plastic so it goes in, and then so you have a total of three different. You have three screws holding your elevator in, your rudder in. Plus, it's tabbed over here. So that's pretty clean. So I should be able to do this. Slide it in. Doing it with one hand. There you go. Slide it in, and then drop it down. I think I'll have plenty of room. Oh, okay. You know what? I want to be careful of the fact that where I've stuck my rudder cable connection, it is right over top of the servo for the elevator. Probably can't see that, but there and then there. So I'm going to move that cable forward, but I've also got to be mindful of not getting underneath the patch. So I think I'm just going to shove the whole mechanism forward and tack it down elsewhere. All right, need my hands back. Be careful with the throws. You'd be surprised. Yeah, I've seen that too, Eddie. I've really started to lower a lot of my throws on especially the jets. Backed off to like almost 50%, which sounds really weird, but boy, you can move those things around pretty quick if you're not paying attention. So I've like you, I've changed how I set it up. All right, I'm pushing that guy as far forward and using the tape. Everything is connected. All right, and I'll thread that cable back under. And let's see if I can pull this a little tiny bit and get it through. Just a little tiny bit more. I'm just looking for something to grab onto. There we go. Just feed that in a little cleaner. There's lots of room in here for your cables. It's just clearing all those servos, and I'll probably tuck it from the front end if I can find. It's not glued through in the center. I'll just find the rudder. There it is. Rudder's on a split, and if I tug this one here, there we go. Now it's glued through. All right. It is what it is. I just don't want to interfere with the elevator, so I'm just going to put my finger in there and close it down. And then we just gently, just making sure. Ow. I'm trying to get a better angle so you can see what I'm up to. And what I'm checking on is how this slides in when it comes in, so you're not creasing that foam. Everything is good on this side, so just a little finessing. Sorry, the camera's on the wrong side of the bench, I think, for this. But what I'm doing is making sure that this sits nice, clean. I think it's much better on the other side. So I just want to make sure as I sink down, I'm not doing any carnage on the foam and not squeezing and ruining it, particularly anything up here. You can see how I'm pushing down there, so I'm going to be careful with that. I like having this extra camera. It's kind of good for pointing out details. All right. Push nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Come on. Let's try this again. There we go. Oh, no. Whoop, darn it. Popped it. Too aggressive. I'm just going to taper the foam in a little bit, and that should help me. And then I got to reset the sticky bit. Alright, that goes in. Slide it forward. It's always a little bit of a fussiness with one part, I find. Yellow to yellow. Try that again. With emotion this time, with feelings, right? Come on. That's going in a little tighter, a little cleaner. There we go. Let's see if I can get this to sink down nice and clean. Picking up a little bit of resistance here. Like it's not sitting flush, which tells me that's the servo wire in the way, so I'm going to keep working on it. You can see what I mean. With the camera again. Handy, eh? Look at that. Right along here. So as I push in. So I'm wondering if that servo lead that I've hooked up the way it is getting in the way. Maybe I should consult that manual. See what they say. Well, they don't say too much. Put the wire in, feed it through, feed the excess or into the servo from the front of the vertical fin. Da 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 da. All right. Well, we'll try that again. Yeah, Bill, I'm agreeing. I think there's just going to be enough to see it. Like I said, I flew my very unfavorite Mustang there, the Durafly, the other day, the other weekend, and I seem to have a better luck tracking it this time. So I think the glasses were a benefit, and I flew the plane a little faster and got more comfortable as I went along. All right, I'm gonna try this again. I just want to get more of that slack out of the way, but I seem to have a lot of cable bundled up right here, which is what I think is causing my issues. So let's see if I can get it to fold back without touching the elevator. The elevator is like the most critical part, and here I'm all bundled up. Let me see if I can tug on the rudder cable and feed it through. This one, I think. Rudder, okay, so it's this one here. I've got a feeling it's all taped through the fuselage. And, well, I might be able to get a little bit of it. Everything turns the same color on a cloudy day. No, agreed. Agreed, Victor. Gray on a gray day. Like I said, with the Commander, even the Commander in the fall, once the tree canopies all turn red, I've had that plane blank out and disappear, and of course all the warbirds disappear with the trees in the background too. So, oh, that's better. So, getting the cable out of the way has helped. I still have a little bit more to go, so I'm just going to see if I can tug it just a little bit more. There. All right, that should sit down. Okay, and they say it's a 16 and 2 16s into 2 sides, and do not over tighten the threads. Okay, so I've got 2 16s and a 20. All right, so I'm going to go around and do a star pattern kind of thing, and that should help it sit a little nicer. Cool. There's one. The other 16 on the other side, and I'll use those to kind of pull it down nice and even. And then the 20, which goes right in here. And I'll keep finessing it down little by little. And this, I'm going to have to change this view so I can see what, oh, there we go. It's threading. Baby blue MiG in a blue sky. What? Does I guess the contrast works out pretty nice, Victor, when you're flying along with baby blue, or is it a maximum sketch factor? Alright, I feel it biting through on the other side. There's actually a hole on the other side so you can feel it seat. So that's really good. So that is in, and I won't over tighten this one. Okay, that's nice. And then all I'm going to do on this side is go through these two and just get and sit down just a little tighter. And I think that will be that. I might just grab a servo tester and an extension and test these two surfaces out. Where are the photos? I just want to see how the tail, how flush it is. I might not have this down flush enough, but it feels like it. Again, if the servo's in the way, it might be pushing it up, but it's definitely high enough off the wing. I'm just gonna look at a reference photo, and it might sit. Yeah, they kind of sit up a little tiny bit, so it's not perfect. I'm gonna have to work on that because I feel like this should be sitting down a little lower. So it's not too bad on the other side, I don't think. Looks pretty good on the other side, so I'm gonna keep playing with that. It's obviously clean here, so it's just sitting a little proud, but the gap on the elevator is nice, so I might be just being a little crazy. It's hard to say. Crazy? Little? That's definitely tight. Alright, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to leave it. Feels good. Tail's on. Alright. Hardly ever cloudy in air. Yeah, winter's coming. Okay, next are the wings. And so the spar goes in. Flip her over. And we'll attach a wing. Let's go. Come on. There. Starting to come together. Starting to look like an airplane. Alright. So, wing connectors. This is, well, you've seen these here. So, that's not too bad, actually. So they've gone away, and I've seen this on the Havoc had this as well. They've gone back to the connectors versus the those multi-ports. I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe it's a cost thing, or it's just easier to keep manufacturing versus soldering all the time. So maybe they're having failures on the PCB boards. So it's hard to say, but that's something to pay attention to when you're syncing that in, obviously. So how's that shot? That's if I turn this camera, if I turn the plane this way, and that camera's there, we should actually be able to capture this. It's not bad. Look at that. I love this. I'm going to change this camera. I'm totally going to change this to that webcam afterwards. Not the webcam, the action cam. You guys will get even a better view next time we do this. So that goes in, and this is fiddly as anything to get those seated in just right. So I don't foresee myself taking the wing off this aircraft because I'd be almost terrified. Look at this. Check this out. Whoop, sorry. Look at that. That is, yeah. Starting to look too big for the table, yeah. It's not that bad. I mean, it's going to be on par with some of the other jets, but look at that. Yeah. This I would be super cautious about. Just make sure when you're putting it in, you hook them in nice and straight, and you watch those loads. Just to be careful. All right. Back to the main cam as I slide this guy in. Alright, I'm going to try and slide it in, being super careful. Actually, you know what? That wasn't that bad. Once you do your alignment and go in, it is good. I'm going to slide that spar in to get that aligned. Sorry for that sound. Ugh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Get in there. Ugh, fiberglass and fiberglass is the worst. And the wings. Let's see if I can delicately convince this piece to go in. I may put the sorry, I keep bumping the microphone. Yeah, you're right, Eddie. The bench feels like it's getting smaller. I'm just gonna pressure this up. Oh, what a horrible sound. I lost my screwdriver. Eddie, can you come get my screwdriver for me? So I'm just trying to align the spar at the top. I wonder if it's almost better to put the screw in just to support it. As you can see, I've got a bit of a gap there. But yeah, just be super careful about the aligning your aligning everything. And I don't think those connectors will be bad, but that's something I'm gonna be very gentle with. All right, that one is there. I'm gonna put the screw down loose. I'm not gonna go all the way. And those are not sitting flush. Maybe I'll load the first one in, see if I can just get the stuff all to line up and cooperate. All right, that one went in a little better, so that just gives us an anchor. Okay, see if I can line up the back one. Yeah, it's those connectors. So applying enough pressure without wrinkling everything, I guess. Don't tell Border Patrol. Thanks, bud. What I'll do on the next two is, so I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing Sidetrack here. I'm playing in OBS to experiment a little bit. And let's see, what goes into the wings? The wings are all the 20s. Why do I have a 16 here? I'm going to have to investigate that one. So I put the two 16s and a 20 across. Maybe I got that wrong, but I didn't think I did. Those are 20s and 20s. Repeat the fronts. And then use two threaded at the bottom of the wing. Repeat step for the other wing. But I've got two 16s and two 20s sitting here. Interesting. What the heck did I put in the rudder? I'll have to check that out again, but I could have swore I had two smaller ones and one long one. Mystery. I don't have any extra screws. Interesting, interesting. It could be that there's the 20s go into the back and the 16s go into the front. I'll have to check that. I'm going to try and align this guy and get this in. Align the tube. Oh, look at that, eh? No success. I'm going to hold this up. I'm trying to support this thing without... Oh, man. Okay, this thing is fiddly. I will say that. I'm going to try and get this in this way. And then I'll check to see what the heck I used on the other one. Oh, that sound. Hey, there we go. Okay. That's all the way in. That's all the way in. Alright. So I've got my longer ones here. I'll put a 20 in the back. And potentially a 16 in the front, but I'm going to check what's going on. Alright. Squeeze. Doing those all the way in, and then I'm going to dump you down, do an alignment with a thinner screwdriver. Okay. I'll use this guy here, the long one, and then I'm going to figure out, I'm going to check what screws I used on the elevator, the rudder. Come on. Wow, that is not going in. The threads look healthy, so I'm just got an alignment issue. That's all. 2 antennas, and then the top one is 2, and then 1. That's just what I did. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Alright, 20, 2 16s. I'm going to flip this thing over. I'm going to look at what I did with that, with the rudder, because I'm kind of curious. Oh, it's looking so good. Looking so good. Ah, I'm hitting everything. It's a big plane, Eddie. It's a really big plane. Sorry, folks, for bumping in the microphone. Ah, maybe I used the 20s by accident up there. I got one screw that's sitting proud in the back and everything. Maybe I did that wrong. I thought I got it right. Look at that. Check your crap. You got it wrong. Rookie mistake. Alright, we'll put the 16 in there. Now I bet the rudder will seat very cleanly. Alright, pull that guy out. Yep. Despite my best intentions, I put the two 20s and this. I used all my 20s there in the tail, which explains why it probably wasn't seating really well. Look at that, it's seating properly now. Ha! All right. Never said I was good at this. Oh yeah, look at that. Way better. Ta-da! Well. Now it sits nice and flush. Stop doing it wrong. That's funny. Bill Decker brought up an interesting conversation. He says FR Sky needs a 10 channel receiver. I almost wonder if they should just put a board and do it that way. Then you can get all 16 channels in theory, right? You know, put in a little flight controller, breakout, who knows. I kind of like what I've started to really like. I hate to say it, the Aurora boards on my Flex Innovation stuff. So, all right, Eddie, you're right. This is a big plane now. Look, I'm trying to flip this over. Wait till I get to the other one. I have to. I'll probably be whacking the microphone every 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to run the other wing in now, and then I'm going to be able to the whole thing together. Whole wing. We'll put the receiver in, we'll drop the gear, we'll put on all the accessories, and run it up, and then we can get on to the 1500. So I guess poll, if you had to pick one, which one would you have gone with? I kind of was just on my EDF kick because I've been having so much fun this year with my EDFs. Actually, really enjoyed flying the Flex. Really enjoyed the Yak. Was looking so forward to the A10. And once the weather clears, I'll make sure that's out again. Sorry for the sound. Once the weather clears, I'll go flying with the A10 very soon. My buddy there, Captain Jerome, wants to record that one flying, and I don't blame him because that's a big, easy aircraft to fly, chase. Alright, so this is the fun part, making sure this stuff all aligns. I can't really show you. I'm just reading the comments as I go. You guys are funny. Alright. I'm trying to get this thing to line up. It is actually, I'm not sure this is better. I really am not sure this is better. You've got your gear, you've got your light, and obviously, yeah, you got gears, flaps, and lights, so, and ailerons, sorry, so you've got, 3 servo connections, and you're trying very delicately, there you go. Never mind, I got it. Just take your time. Alright, that's in there now. I'm going to drop a screw on the top, and obviously I'm trying not to compress. The A10 wing, you can, you know, grab aside and push in pretty good. Not so much on this one. So, alright, top screw. Come on, align. Oh, look at that one. That's threading in sideways. I'm picky. Come on. There we go. It's nice, though. Big plastic receiver, you know, for where the whole, all that hardware is going in. Squeak, 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 squeak. Okay, I'm going to back that one out a bit so I have a little bit of play. Just be careful with whacking your whacking on camera. Thanks, Victor. Good advice. That's good. I enjoy this community a lot, guys. Okay. But, and let's see. I'm actually going to check something really quick. The computer, it's not even doing 30% tasking, so it's not a super fast computer, but I bought a decent video card that was on sale to go with my monitor. And then if you saw some of the stuff I posted, because the video card took a different, an 8-pin, so 6+2 connector, I actually had to go out and buy a whole new darn power supply. So it was just kind of funny that, you know, what should have been just a very simple purchase turned out to be a whole lot more complicated than it should have been. Come on. Okay, got traction on that one. That's good. And I got just a little bit of a gap. Why, these are... Oh, I don't like that, eh? I'm going to have to push these in. Alright, let's see if I can get... Sorry for the lack of view right now. I'm just trying to... Yeah, I don't like... See, there's a... Don't like that alignment there. So I'm going to try and improve that. And see if I can get this guy to go down. These, as you're starting to see, I don't like that. Yeah. These are tight. And of course, all the time I'm on my stand, I'm probably pushing on the foam and blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can get that one to push in a little bit. Eddie, can you come on over? I need your hand. Can you just hold this for me? Jeez, Nettie. Miss my buddies. Alright, we'll try this. Wonder if I can, you know, push it in. Oh, man. That's terrible. Okay, so you're not taking your F4 apart if you do get it. Hey, Victor, do you take yours apart to transport it? Obviously it's a little bigger of a wingspan, but you just leave the wings on and try and get it in the car. I have all these ambitions to fly bigger aircraft, and I don't think my car is actually going to work, and I'm not buying a bigger van. I'm not getting a minivan. We've discussed this. Oh, man. Wow. I'm going to back off the front screw. Give me a little bit of a... So I can swing this in. But this one is tight, and there's not a lot of mass to grab with. Don't repeat my... But everybody can see your comments. They can see your comments on the replay. So you can't get away with that. And I don't have them on screen, but I will program that in next. Alright. Let's see if I... Well, that one's there. Oh my. Frustrating, huh? You think it's that easy, and it's just putting wings on. Come on. So I'm going to take off the front screw. I'm going to take them out completely. And that might let me get the back to slide in a little easier. That might actually be the solution. I don't want to grab a control surface. I'm funny. I need another arm. Another hand. I'm trying to push. So I'm just here. Look at this. I'm talking about like just a little bit of a gap, but it's big enough that I can't sink the screw in. So I'm going to try and get that alignment in. So by taking out the front screw, I should in theory be able to link the back and then do the front. Theory. Hey, Kevin. Welcome to the show. What time is it? It's just after 12. I'm hungry. But, like I said, it is miserable outside. I walked up upstairs and actually had to turn on some lights because it was so dark. It was like, you know, light the fire kind of thing. And I'm like, it's not even October. It's just, ugh. But tomorrow's supposed to look a lot better. Oh, man. That's frustrating. Alright, I might actually, if this is the stubborn wing, I might release the other one and see if it's the spar, if that's in the way. If I remove this wing, maybe it'll give me an opportunity to adjust the other wing and then leave the darn wings on for the rest of the life of the aircraft. Self-tapping screws or machined? These are machined. So it's not the screws actually, Victor. It's the fact that the wing is just off, just that tiny bit, and I don't know what the contact point is or why. It's just, and like I said, I don't have a means to shove this thing in, so it's not like the E10 wing where you have a lot of surface to bite, right? So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that back and then pull out the screws. Actually, I'm gonna reseat the whole darn thing and see what I see. All right, here we go. Wing coming off. Watch the microphone. All right, so I don't see anything interfering. The connectors all feel fine. It's just a little bit of foam there, but that can't be it. So we'll just see if we can do it again. But this time, if I've got the spar feels really tight, so that could be causing me a little bit of binding issue too. But it's still ever so annoying. And like I said, I want to avoid crushing my wing, just pushing the thing in. So see, I need a third hand, folks. Oh, this is very interesting, and it's just out by that ever so little bit. I'm just reading some of the comments as we're going on, as I work through this minor technical issue. It's always something with an airplane. It's just a little wobble. All right, let's see if I can just encourage this thing to find its tap. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to sync the other one. I move my airplanes on the back seat. Yep, I do the same thing. Yeah, everybody, I've got like I said, this one, like the A10 is the only one I built anything for, and the only regret I had with the A10 I realized was on the FMS one, it's got the camera pod that hangs off the side of the canopy, the cockpit area or whatever. I wish I put that on a magnet. I wish I'd sunk that in with a magnet so I could pop that off and then the airplane could technically sit down flat. But as it is, I use the stand, so it's the biggest, most cumbersome outside of the Grand Tundra, but the Grand Tundra is just the setup time. And usually I'm flying that one in the winter, which I'm going to fly a lot more soon. I can get 90 and my 70. Yeah, when I go flying now, if I'm doing jets, in theory, I should be able to get 3 into the car and just distribute them between the back seat and everything. So I love the Yak. It's it impressed me in that it's simple, but it transports really well because of that flat bottom, the belly. And even this one, you're going to have to watch out for because all your control surfaces are really exposed, like all the control rods and everything. So, oh well. I'll make some kind of little rig. We're all careful with our airplanes in transport, right? Wink, wink. Nothing gets rubbed or anything. It's funny. After a couple flights, you're like, okay, we're good, and we don't need to baby it anymore. Yeah, this thing has just got just this tiny, tiny little bit of a gap that I just can't get to. I wonder if I plug the retracts in, the retract sequencer, and open the gear, if I had a little, it would give me something a little bit more leverage to work with. Alright, to do that, I've got my handy dandy gear. Put some power through it, see if I can open up the gear. And if that gives me the ability to cycle something and get my hand in there. Ooh, got a light. Alright, ready? And I don't have the back gear. I don't know why. Alright, well, that could be one of the reasons. So much for that idea. Darn. Sprint van. Yes! Yes, yes. Those Ford ones are not too bad either. That's funny. We're going to look at, we look at vans for their storability. Next car will probably be a hatchback in that subject. I'm sorry this is taking so much. I'm trying to do everything not to damage anything, and I'm getting frustrated with that because it's so close. Yeah, actually, here, if you want to see just how close it is, I don't know if this camera's going to pick it up, but come on. Oh, you can't see into the darkness. That's funny. Anyhow, it is so close. I just cannot get the leverage in there to pull that tight. I'm not sure why. I'm going to try it without the spar. See if it's the spar causing it. And it might be. Alright, maybe I can convince this without the spar and then align the spar afterwards. Put some pressure on it and just see without the spar if I can slide it in and make those connections work. Who would have thought it would take me an hour to get a wing on an airplane? Yeah, I've got a feeling it's those connections. I'm trying not to load anything and stress and putting damage to the body. Oh, it's so annoying. It's definitely has to do with the connections. The connectors or whatever are just, they're causing it not to pull in tight. It's definitely why I'm having issues. Alright, so I just used my 1.5 to try and align everything, and we'll go from there. Self-tapping would have been a little nicer, but come on. Sink. Go into your home. Happy Gilmore. Thank you. Well, huh? That's frustrating as heck. Any ideas? The A10 wing is too big to leave assembled. Yeah, no, my A10, dude, I can't even leave one wing on that airplane. So I do one of those those travel boxes, which I got picked on for the pink foam, but that's when I built it, the pool season was over. That's what I could find. How the heck do you overcome this problem? Hey, Horizon? Ugh. Oh well. I'm gonna put the other wing on and go back to it and just finish this one side off, and then I will have to come back to that. But right now, that's why the controls aren't working either. Like I said, I'm not in love with that kind of connector. It's alright. Lift. Turn. Wow. Frustrating or what, hey? Oh well. Okay, so once again, align slowly, pull it together, hold it together. Alright, we'll dump these screws in. Wrong driver. Well, that's taken way too long, but I can't do any tests with the control surfaces until those are matted in nice and clean. Yeah, unfortunately, ran into a snag on this where one of the wings isn't seating, and you can hear the other screw kind of binding as well. So it's not what I would call a clean install. It's a little fiddly problem. Okay, so with the aircraft this way, I might be able to pressure it in. It's a very interesting problem. It's very annoying. And it's all, looks like awesome. It looks like it's doing an awesome inverted pass. Thank you, Eddie. I doubt I'll ever do a nice inverted pass with an EDF for a while. I don't think my skill sets are quite there yet. Oh, come on. Oh, that's so frustrating. Spitting everywhere. Alright, I'm just trying to figure out how to get my arms wrapped around this thing so I can pressure it enough that I can push the connector in. And that's what it is. I can see the difference. I just don't have a way to affect it so I can pull that in. It's definitely a torsion, like a twist kind of issue. So releasing the front screw again so I can get the back to mount a little bit. And we'll just see if that makes a difference. Anybody else sees this issue with watched any other reviewers? Because any other builds of it? Because obviously there's something going on. Probably gonna need to clear the wing tube sleeve. It's not the wing tube. It's actually it's not the wing tube. It's the connection point where the wing gear hooks. The sleeve went in fine, but it's where the aileron, elevator, and gear connect. It looks like it's just not aligning well enough, so the screw just does not want to get in there, and I just need like an extra hand. So I'm gonna keep filling with it and see if I can get a bite. See if I can just put a little pressure here, and I'm trying not to crease the foam, and I'm trying not to stab it with my screwdriver. That might have worked. So I held on the very end of the wing. Okay. Woot, 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 woot. That took way too long, but okay. Seat these guys all down. I like the white on the bottom of the jet, by the way. It looks clean. Okay, that's all in. That's all in. Yay! Whew. Oh yeah. Anybody noticed my awesome new t-shirt? I find your lack of sarcasm disturbing. Woo! Love it. Okay, we'll try that gear sequencer again now. See if all of them react. All right, we got some LEDs. Woohoo! Thunder Chicken. There we go. Nice dual in the front. Look at that. Nice. So actually, I can leave the gear out and then flip her over and put her on the right side up. Just landing lights and everything. Look at that. Big pan. That's neat. Oh, hold on. Let's get the camera. Oh, look at 13. Lucky 13. Woo! Finally. Oh, whack the camera again. Microphone hooked up in the cables. Look at that. Nice. That took a lot longer than I wanted it, but we now have landing gear. So let's flip this guy over. I will drop the I'll drop the ESC, the receiver in real quick, because I think that was it. Set up the stuff. Hey, well, it's upside down. I guess we'll throw on some of the armament. So at least we have the photo up. So it looks like missiles go into the front. I remember on my FMS, this took me for the A10. This took me forever to get into place. The armament just did not want to latch, no matter how hard I tried. I think this one goes like this. Let's see, they never go on. It never goes on successfully for me. They go forward. There's always something fiddly with these guys. All right, there's another one. Nice, nice. Is it a dual or single? This is a single EDF fan on the inside. I will get the camera and stick it in the intake here in a second. Whoa, jeepers, elbows. There you go. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to. Yeah, look at her. Big 80. Decent 80mm fan. So it is a single 6S aircraft, but it is nice. I'm going to try and get these pieces to mount up. I think they go, notches are this way. This stuff never goes on nicely for me. And I hate pushing on the foam. I'm always like, no, I don't want to damage anything. It's actually it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. That's what she said. What? What? All right, let me try and turn this so I can get it towards, so I can line this last one up. Flip it upside down. I will put the receiver in. We'll spool it up, check the surfaces really quickly, and then I'm actually going to get on to the 1500 because I think we're all waiting around to see that one come out of the box. All right. Come on. Oh, wow. That's on. Actually, that was almost on. Oh, man, I hate these things. I learned not to fight with them. Sometimes it's either the actual piece of carving has gone in. There's a piece of debris on the inside. You need to. That's why I learned with the A10. You just put it in, move it around. These feel real flimsy. So that will just be waggling away in the wind. All right, we'll try this again. Well, this stuff's all just drag-inducing craziness. Let's swap them. Shock your tires. Yeah, I guess I could 3D print some shocks. There, that one worked. Okay. Didn't Hobby King release a... There you go. A print file. All right, and the center tank. What's the orientation for the center tank? It looks like long end to the back. Okay, so this way. Yeah. Tapered section goes towards the back, according to the picture. Yeah, I'm all flipped upside down, but there we go. Woo, we got it. All right, let's ditch this thing. Sorry. Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right, get the wide view. Woo! That's good looking plane. Didn't do any carnage to the top side. Grass strips may be fun, but this jet looks like it's got good thrust. Yeah, I don't think I'll be using, like I said, the armament stuff is, and we all saw what happened to James at Motion RC with his F-18 when he 3D printed a bunch of stuff, and it didn't end well for the poor jet. Yeah, okay, this thing is impressive. Now, I'm going to set this bad boy up in my normal. I'm not using the Spectrum setup because I'm running my FR Sky, so channel 3 will actually be the throttle. I've got a 6S pack over here so I can do a quick blip test. Will the big 6200s fit inside this thing? No. So we're going to go with a 45, so it'll just be a static test on 6S because the 45s are... But as you can see, she ain't going to fit. That is a 6S 6200, so I will run my 45s and probably look into getting some 5000s because it is actually a pretty narrow cockpit actually in there. So I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put the receiver. I guess they have their receiver jammed up into the front, so I will probably do something similar. I'll have to check the canopy. I've cut canopies before to make the receivers fit nice. So that was something to play with based on the length of the wires. It would have been nice to be able to shove everything to the back, but obviously that ain't going to work. All right. We'll see if I can align this while I work in there real quick. All I want to do at this point is run everything up. 5000 will be perfect. I agree, Eddie. But my 4500s will also do the job until I have that particular piece of battery at my disposal. All right, let's see. Let's run this thing up real quick. I'm not going to worry about dressing the battery location or the receiver. I'm just going to hook everything in. We'll hear it run. We'll love it. We'll enjoy it. The only question I have is gear on 5.
Welcome to OpenPX. Switch warning. Lowest cell 0 volts. Throttle release.
All right. I have my gear on 5 and my flaps on 6. Got that, everybody? All right. So it is. The camera's probably not catching it all. I wonder. I'm gonna have to look at the pictures. I'll go and check the pictures online and see where they were jamming their receiver. Obviously, this guy is a little bigger than the Spectrum receiver, but it's not too bad. So rudder into 4. This is my gear sequencer into 5. And then flaps goes into 6. I will probably come back and change the rudder assignment. Well, actually, I can do that right now. Because here's the rudder. Here's the nose gear. But that really limits my receiver location. So like I said, I will go back afterwards and I will fiddle around with it. But we're on the home stretch for this jet finally. Wow, these are really short cables. These are really short leads. Ailerons into 1. I do wonder if I can run my receiver into the nose here section. We'll have to see. Elevator into 2. Wow, this is tiny. Tiny, 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 tiny leads. Come on, fingers. Jeepers. EDF. And last, where are the flaps? You must be flaps into 6. Yeah, there we go. I probably should just pick up another 6 channel of this radio versus an 8, but there's no price difference. And like I said, I tend to run my nose gear on the channel 7, so I don't turn it when I turn the rudder. But how often are you running the rudder? Unless you're doing some crazy aerobatics, I guess. Okay. Wow, there's not a lot of play in these cables. Here, it's really short. Might get in there. Actually, I will have a look. No, they've got, according to this, the receiver sits in this area right here. There might be room underneath. No, there's nothing room. So their receiver, the Spectrum receiver, sits right in, well, here. Look at that. So according to the manual, I don't know if that's showing up at all. So according to the manual, it is right in there. So there might be a chance. I will probably, like I said, go and carve the section out of the canopy as much as I can to basically give myself room for my receiver. So, anyhow, let's get this thing hooked up. Let's finish this thing. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I just need to get my flap in there and it'll work. I'm just pressuring the leads. I find some of them. Oh, you know why? Haha. Haha. My rudder is upside down. There we go. What was it? It was the yak. For those who ever saw it, I don't know if I broadcasted that one or not or recorded. I don't remember, but I spent like the better part of checking an hour checking my receiver on the yak, and only to realize it was their control board. They'd wired one of the wings, aileron controls upside down. So the first thing the aircraft did was, it didn't do anything. The receiver kept wigging out because they had an upside down connection. So I couldn't get the thing to work or nothing. So I actually had to pull the board out from behind the fuselage, way in there, unstick it, flip it all around, and tech it out. But it worked in the end. It's a nice jet too. Uncase it and you'll have more room. I never thought about that, Bill. That is actually a really good idea. This receiver too is out of the Mamba. So I took one of my XR, whatever they are, the one I had in the quad, and I made a cable so I could hook into the Aurora box. There you go, got it. That worked out really well. I haven't done any flight tests with it. I haven't flown it yet, but it's basically the same as the 4 with the serial bus. So, woohoo. Okay, let's plug this thing in, turn on the radio.
Switch warning. Lowest cell. 0 volts.
Okay, turn that off.
Gear down. Flaps up. Low rates. Timer 1 elapsed. Battery consumption. Throttle hold. Gear up.
Okay.
Gear down.
I don't know if this is going to work or not with the gear, so I got to watch that. We'll plug it in. I'll find out real fast. All right, here we go. Hold on to your jets. Okay, the gear didn't retract, so that's good news. All right, we'll give it a second. I wonder if I can get the stand underneath there for that part. Well, actually, if I hold it up, as long as my hands are out of the way, I'm going to actually remove that center tank. I think I can. I don't know. All right, I'm going to hold it up, and I'm going to retract the gear. I'm going to try and retract it. I should have a second to do this. No more room. Okay, just cycling the gear. That might have been my gear down call because the lights just turned on. So we'll try this again. I could have a channel reversed. You never know. Yep. All right, my hand was in the way. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off. Swap that channel.
Telemetry lost.
Telemetry lost. So channel... gear is on channel 5. Channel 5. Reverse now.
Gear up.
There you go. Alright.
Gear down.
Okay, so that should work now. So
Gear up.
gear up. Turn it on. Actually, while it's on, we'll do a...
Throttle release.
I'm going to calibrate the ESC.
Telemetry recovered.
There you go. Okay.
Throttle hold.
Alright. So, here we go. I'm going to pick it up again. I'm going to release the gear. My goodness. It's a lot of plane. It's not heavy either, though. It's just a lot of airplane. Alright. And then we can run through all the other control surfaces. Sequencer has a nice feature. Stays positive power, so I'm going to show that comment. Cool. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I didn't do that right. Oh, jeez. Can't do it fast enough. Eddie, where are you, man? Drive you crazy, Eddie. Alright, ready? Ah, my goodness, that is harder than you think with one hand. Okay, we'll put them back, and we'll do it again one more time. Oh, wow. All right, if I do it like this, there we go. Use your bench, right? Use the bench. There we go. Okay, drama's done. Woo! Okay, nice aircraft. All right, ready? The moment we're all waiting for. I think if I do this right, I can get the other camera into just the right position. We'll do a double shot. Can we see inside the EDF? Can we see in there? Can we see in there? Ah, we can't see in there. All right. That's not bad. All right, ready? Throttle release. Got my hand on it. All right, ready, folks? Hand on. Woo! Camera! Phone knocked over. Oh boy. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. Alright, one more. One more kick. That battery doesn't have any punch left in it. I don't want to ruin my battery. Ready? Full shot. Are we ready? Everybody got their ears plugged? Does the microphone still work? Holy crap. Okay, I give them credit, man. Those 80 mils feel like they've got a lot of punch. So, real quickly, we'll run through the control surfaces. I think I gotta tune the... I feel like I need to tune the elevator, possibly. One looks higher than the other. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but... Alright, that's going right, left, right, left. And the elevator is going in the wrong direction. So servo 4. Now. Down. Up. No, that's not right. Back end of it should go, if I want to go up, the back end should be like that. Alright, flip it. Why is that not changing directions? Oh, wait, because elevators too. That's funny. There we go. TX is throwing a lot of RF interference that close. Oh, sorry folks, didn't realize that. Wah. Okay, gotcha. And you've got telemetry feedback and everything. Apologize for that. Didn't realize that. That's funny. Cool. So there we go. What I'll do is I'll disconnect this, I'll turn off the radio, we'll put the canopy on it, and we'll say, this bad boy is ready. I have to go through all the stuff, all the settings. Obviously gonna have to do my CG and everything. But darn, I like this jet. It looks good. I will have to find its parking spot for the receiver. I like Bill's idea of actually stripping it down and taking off the parts, the casing, and then we'll go from there. So for now, the receiver is gonna dump into there. Woo-hoo-hoo. And then the canopy top. That took a lot longer than I thought, but then we ran into those little snaggy issues with that wing install, but overall, I think it turned out really well. Alright, let's run that camera around it. Look at that jet. Look at that jet. Woo! It's nice. This is definitely handy. The detachable nose for transport. That's surprisingly, I mean, that is a good... That's a good 6 inches right there, folks. Right, Victor? Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. And if she doesn't remember when it was FT After Hours... Turn down the elevator throws. Yes, Eddie, I will. I know. Ah, damn! I'm impressed. And it's got a suspension. It does have suspension on it. Does the backhand? The backhand should have a little bit of suspension to it, but the nose does. Yeah, there's a little bit of spring, so that's not bad. And I think the armament, all that stuff is just going to come off for normal flying. That's just stuff that feels like it's going to get broken just as soon as you put it in the car. And then the only other issue is watching those little fins. I could see myself cutting those things off, the bottoms of the missiles, just so when you put it into the car, it sits flat, and then you don't have to mess around with it. You just throw it on a blanket or a towel or whatever, and you're good. I will go through all the control surfaces and check them all out. All right. That means we actually have an airplane ready to go. It looks gorgeous. Who's pumped about the 1500? Should I just put this guy aside and then crack out the 1500? Yay or nay? We ready for this? Again, E-Flite F-4. This is the plug and play versus the bind and fly. I picked this one up from Great Hobbies. Yeah, I'm going to open up the 1500 now because that's what I really want to see too. This is real. I'm looking forward to this. It'll be interesting to see if it sits on the jet rack. If it fits on the jet rack, it's a little big, but it should have no issues, and it should fly really well. And as everybody said, with the colors and everything, it should track really nice as well. So again, all I gotta do is do my rates and check all my settings and everything, and we'll be awesome. All right, give me a second and move the F4 out of the way. And we'll bring the box up for the big airplane. Yeah, you know what? With that all that gear underneath, there's not a lot of spots to pick it up, but it seems like on the nose and the back tail seems pretty good. But oh yeah, some profile shots while I've got it here, right? There's the pilot in the canopy. On the bottom side, bump the microphone again. We've seen this, so. Nice looking jet, really good color actually. I'm thinking it'll be very attractive with especially with the black on the top and the very distinctive white on the bottom. Actually, should be very easy to spot. So I'll let you know when I go flying. Now, you're late. The gear's down. It does. Does it have retracts? Can we see them? It does, Russell. Yes, it does have retracts. Of course, it's got retracts. And actually, they retract really well. It's more I just didn't have enough hands to hold it all together and do it. They work nice. They were sequenced, and it seemed to go really good. All right. Parker, sorry, not Russell. I read your last name, sorry. Yes, it works. It is now over there. The F4 is done. Like I said, I'll go through the radio and program it up. Now, we're going to get into the 1500. Which, if the F4 was a handful to manage on the bench, I'm a little scared about what the 1500 is going to be like, because it is a sizable aircraft. I received some good tips, too. I watched the setup video that Horizon did, their build video. And then some tips about sanding the collet adapters, the prop shafts to help the props go on. I think I've got all my tools and everything here, so I should be okay to handle everything. So, without further ado, the plane of the moment, we're going to try and break this guy out. RSFE asks about the RCAfterhours stickers. I have been setting up a deal with some friends and some people to help me with that. Yes, they are coming. It's one of those things where, you know, I work, I get busy, but they are coming. Trust me, they are coming. Alright. Oh my goodness. Ah. Let's see if I can get this airplane out. This should be the top. This might be the bottom of the box. I think I got the box upside down. Let's see. I see a manual and stuff. I'm going to assume that this is the way it's supposed to go. It feels like it's loaded in upside down. I don't know. Yeah, the box is in upside down, so who knows. Alright, so we're going to flip this guy over. Alright, there's a manual. There's some pieces here. This is going to be really interesting. I see the fuse. Yeah, this is the right way up. Okay, I'm gonna try and drop the box again without hitting the camera. Jeez! Alright. There's a lot of pain. Oh, wow. Sorry, the noise. I know I hate that noise. Wow! Oh. Ooh. Ooh. That thing is heavy. Alright, okay, so there is a decal sheet right away. I have to decide what decal I'm going to run with, or if I think I'm going to run with a US Coast Guard. I don't know yet. I haven't decided which one I'm going to run with. Or maybe I'm going to hit up Callie and get some. I know she's done a decal pack for the window right away, so who knows? Oh man, this thing is it's a big airplane. I don't have a spot for all this stuff. Okay. First thing to check, besides that horrible noise. Alright, there's nothing underneath, so there's no hidden parts there. So we'll just start at the top, and then I'll get the camera in, and oh man, what a beast. So the manual with your bind plug, because this is, as I mentioned, the bind and fly. Alright, let's, skis. Skis. Another reason why I picked it was skis. I watched the video, the Horizon video last night where they flew it off water. This thing on floats would probably not fit in someone's car. So, alright, tipping it over. Sorry, more noise. Canadian schemes from Cali would be awesome. I don't know if sorry, noise. Oh, man. Look at that. Look how clean that is. Now, everybody's seen this thing unboxed before, so no big deal. I'm going to hustle through it, and we'll get the build on the way. But, wow. Okay, so it's interesting already in noticing that they went with the combined plug, and we saw that from the build. And that's so because they're running the power through the wings. So you can take the wings off pretty easily. That's one of the reasons why I actually avoided things like the... really love the B25, the free the Flightline B25 or B24, sorry. But like all the wiring to get the wings, so you could take the thing apart, put it in a car. It's just crazy. Look at the colors. Woo! All right, let's just get this box open and underway. This plane shouldn't take too long to build. Famous last words, right? All right. Maker knife. There's a giant spar. Alright, let's just free that. 2 spars. Oh man, the noise. I hate the foam noise. Spar. 2 spars. Let's just get that tape out of the way. Okay. There's the collops. There's the props. I should order some spare props because I know how I fly. I destroyed the... Actually, no. Sorry. On a high-wing twin, in theory, these props should last forever on this airplane. Oh, I love the orange. I admit right away, one thing that drew me to this airplane was the color scheme, the orange. For whatever reason, I'm kind of done with the green colors lately. Like, there's just been so many airplanes. Like the Havoc looks fantastic, but just after a while, there's so many planes running on that green color that the Havoc, sorry, the orange look good. Oh, tape is on the controls. Does it have LEDs? Is a question from Parker Russell. I believe it does, and we'll know here in a minute. Yes, it does. I see a green LED, so yes, it does have lights. It's probably more on par, aircraft-wise, if we were to put it on a comparison. It's probably more on par with something like the Bushmill for specs and everything, but I like the gear. I like the fact it didn't have retracts, so it's a simpler aircraft. The hatch is a bonus. The gear, not the gear, the back hatch, and I don't know. It just struck a chord with me. I liked it. I've been missing a twin in the fleet. I did sell the Bushmill last year after I had flown it enough, and especially after I got the GT. I thought I would fly the GT a lot more than I did, and then last winter was just terrible. Tape. All right. One of the props. All right. I'm going to get rid of some of these foam pieces. We'll get out the top wing. Oh, actually, the wing is sat inside the foam. I think the other part is here. So much tape. I love the props. Props remind me of the Hercules J. So they're pretty darn cool. I'm gonna get fluff all over the cameras, right? All right, let's see if I can extract some of this gear. I haven't found the accessories yet. Oh, there's the accessories over here. All right, all the plate, accessories, and screws. All right, cut this. We'll pop off that first wing. And I will have to build a model, which I'll probably go and do from right within the Radio Wizard. All right, ready? I missed that miserably. All right, there's a wing coming out. Woo! Look at that. Actually, that's got some weight to it. Ooh, here was a question then that you have to answer. Am I doing big aileron, small flaps, or normal size aileron and big flaps? Talk among yourselves and let me know. But that is pretty cool. And it's got the motor is the BL15 brushless 650 kV motor. I will be flying this one on 4S. I'm not going to bother with 3S. We're just going to go right to 4 and put this over here. All right, next wing. Oh, I see the top. Yeah, nothing in that bag, right? All right, here's this piece of foam. Got one. All right. Here's the other piece. Here's the other wing. There you go. So again, are we gonna go with the larger aileron and smaller flap, or normal size aileron and large flaps? I'm thinking large ailerons and the flaps, and then you got maximum controls in the flap. This thing should slow down. Then my biggest complaint with the Bushmill was I couldn't fly even full dirty with doors, flaps, and everything down. I couldn't get it to slow down the way the Skymill slowed down. So I'm expecting this one to go really slow. Because that's the fun part with the cargo planes, those short takeoff and landing drops and everything. So, woohoo! Dedicated small flaps would be dope. Lots of flaps and slow it down. Woohoo! Long term, I probably will dump in an 8-channel receiver, get rid of the Spectrum receiver, and dump in another 8-channel, just a VR7 or whatever, and separate all of them so I can have all that going on. So I won't be flying with safe on this because I'll be using all 6 channels for the aircraft. So flaps on 5, and then 6 will probably be the door hatch. AS3X can do what it wants to help stabilize. But for now, I think I'm gonna go big flaps, big aileron, small flaps. So we'll see. Big old flaps, Eddie says. Flaperons, dedicated small flaps. Yeah. So all those mixes will have to wait till I change the receiver out. I just went with the plug and fly because the plug and play I don't think it was available at the time when this was purchased. So ready? Are you ready? Ah! That's the FPV canopy. That was so unclimactic. Hold on, let's try that again. Hold on. We'll do it again. Ready? Oh man. Ruined it, hey? 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that thing. It's freaking gorgeous. Ah. Nice. That is a little FPV bubble. Let's get this, I'll put this plane aside. We'll get the box well out of our way this time. And we'll drool over what this aircraft is. Oh, I'm already drooling. Look at this thing. Freaking beautiful. Someone needs a good SPM transmitter. Alright, hold on. Well, see, even if I had a IX-12 Spectrum transmitter, the stock receiver in the aircraft is still only a 6-channel, right? They've only got the 6 in there. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's beautiful, guys. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, I'm so happy about this one. Oh. Oh, and it's light. It is surprisingly light and nimble. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, I love the gear. I'm hoping that the nose gear holds up to it. It's a twin wheel. I really bashed up the Bushmill landing gear when I would fly it, so I'm really high expectations on this one. The landing gear, the back gear are super. Look into an iNav. That's actually a really good idea. I have that. I do have an iNav module and receiver and everything ready to go. So that is a really good possibility later on in the season. Great idea, RSFPV. Great idea. All right, let's get the little action camera. I actually go this way so you can see everything while I talk it through. All right, so I was talking about the landing gear. My wires are all caught up, but I'm gonna flip this thing over and look at that. That is actually pretty darn sensible. So it's a wheel well in there, and maybe this plastic could have been a little beefier. Like I could see that getting a little beat up. Everything's showing there. Yes, it is beautiful, but that's not bad. It's got really nice build and construction. It's all sectional in the foam, so it's like a front section. This piece pops in. I bet for spares and everything, you could probably get most of this stuff, and they roll pretty darn good. That's nice. And I'm not. A lot of people were beat up about the fact that it doesn't have retracts, and I think it would just make the aircraft heavier. And then so here we go. We'll stick with this camera so I can show you some of the stuff. So there's the back controls. So there's your elevator control, and that's pretty damn cool. Obviously the vertical stab, your rudder. That's got a nice spot for it. That's a big piece of kit. And then we can get in and we can open the top. I should be able to do this with one hand. And that comes off. The piece that popped off was the FPV, so you can put a little FPV gizmo in there. That's pretty damn cool. I doubt I'll ever fly this plane FPV, but. And then the nose cone should come off, I think. And do, again, you can put an action cam in there. So there you go. That came off. That's pretty cool as well. So gotta watch out wherever I put this aircraft. So that's pretty neat. And look at the size of that bay. I'm gonna be running these are my 4S 3300s. I have some 6600s. Remember those for years ago? Those guys who were at Flight Fest. There was Ready-Made RC had some 4S 6600s. I still have 2 of those packs left. I bet I could like stick those in there and like look at the size of that compartment. But I'm probably gonna end up buying some 4000s and running that. So let's see if I can see all the gear. There's the receiver. Where's the ESC plug? That seems to be MIA. Yeah. Let me turn off this camera, flip it back over so I can go and look myself. Oh, there it is, just tucked away in the back, underneath. Looks like they have a UBEC as well, supporting the aircraft, so that's pretty good news. So that's supporting all the servos, obviously. Here we go. Get that camera back in there. There you go. So you got your nose gear, you got all your controls. I will just run an adapter, which I have over here, so I can hook it into 4-channel right at 4S right away. Where is that? I had it out. Ah, there it is. Yeah, it is a big. So, and here's my adapter. Let's go to 2-cam. There. I run these until the warranty period's up, and then I snip them and go with my XT60s or whatever. The batteries I'm looking for are actually 4S 5060C, so they run the XT90, so I just adapt it. Or I can do a split. I can run 2 batteries in here if I so wanted to, and then I can run 2 3300s and just fly. But I think the big 6000s may fit on this bad boy. But woo! All right, let's go to the main cam. We'll get into the build. This thing is really nice. I mean, it's a big airplane, but I'm pumped. So, the only annoyance thing is, look, to bind it, you gotta get your hand into the bind spot, and that's so. What I've seen a couple guys do is put extensions, and that's what I'm gonna do in here, just in case, because I am flying off. In case anybody was wondering, where is it? Let's go to the 2 camera so I can do this. So that's my module. That's what I've been flying with. Darren Warner, I think I got your name right. Last year at Flight Fest passed me this. I do have a Orange RX transmitter module, the original, and that works a treat. But I've been switching over to this. This should be a DX6 transmitter module. And so, I'm holding it wrong, aren't I? Jeez. There you go. Here, hold on. Even better, folks. I'll do it this way. Yeah. So, that should be showing up. So, it's a little module and everything fits in my radio. Binds differently, too, and you've got to actually do a couple little tricks to it. So, when I do bind it in, I actually will have to select the model. Kay Amron says, I think I get your name right. Kay says, yeah, cool plane, but too pricey. Yes, it is pricey. It is. And I really had to hum and haw. All the planes are pricey right now. We've seen a nice, I've seen a marked increase in what it costs to enjoy the hobby at a certain scale. I mean, obviously the flight test stuff is a huge bang for buck. But yeah, everything across the board, all the technology and everything with the taxes and everything has started to cost more, but you have to make those decisions. So this is something I really wanted, so I went for it. All right. This is really cool. And the canopy's, decent. This thing should hang out for a while. I lost the nose cap, didn't I? Did it fall on the other side somewhere? I don't know where it went. I like this. Oh, there it is. Nose cones underneath. Is it stepped or universal? I think it's all the same shape, no matter what way it goes in. Nope, it's notched. There you go. Ta-da! I like that it's got a little bit of a Herc feel to it and everything, but it's not. It's not a C-130 or the Spartan. Isn't that the twin motor one that the Airbus was trying to push the military on? I know they were trying in the Canadian Forces, but I just think it looks neat. Alright, so they're the spars. In theory, this thing should go together real quick, and then I'll set it all up. Look under the plane. Thank you, Eddie. Alright. So, and thumb screws for the wings. So you can take this thing apart quickly. And I'm probably going to see if I can find a servo extension here in my bench really quick. So I can put a lead on the servos and get through it easier. Otherwise, I got a feeling I'll just be going crazy trying to, I got something here. Trying to bind it, especially if I have to rebind with my receiver. The transmitter, sorry. Alright, we'll do that afterwards. Because I will have to go through a binding sequence. I will have to do this all up. The Bushmill I had reverse. I don't know if I've got the radio settings on my... I'll build it anyhow, and then I can program, finesse it, and everything. But we'll get it running, so let's go. It's taken all day, but it's a good day. Eventually I'll have to break for lunch. Alright, a bunch of manuals from Horizon on this one, and there must be a battery connector manual amendment, flaps manual, flap correction, don't do 50 and 100, do 50 and minus 100, position 1, position 2, and then 15 and 25%, I think it's the Expo, so we'll fiddle around with it, we'll figure out what they're talking about here. Alright, and then I have, look at the size of this manual, good grief. Alright, big bag full of pieces, looks like a bunch of plates and everything for different components, so we'll figure out what all that is. That's probably, I think a lot of this stuff is for the landing gear and skis, if I'm correct. Any questions about the plane so far? Alright, there's foam, there's a shim, this is for the wings. There's another piece of foam, we'll put those aside. These look like landing gear clamps. Yeah, these look like blanking plates for the skis, which I will be using this winter. I'm actually comfortable flying having a good winter plane again. Well, not even a good winter plane, just another winter plane. And like I said, this thing on skis, these little skis here, won't take any more space in the car than with it on gear. So that's pretty cool. And they all look the same. I think there's, no, 2, 3, yeah. There you go. These are, here. That's pretty darn cool. I'm looking forward to changing this camera. I'll get one, next camera will have a wide angle, so it'll be just easier to show off all this stuff. Alright. 100 pages in different languages. It probably is. It probably is. Alright. English, German, French, I believe, and it looks like Italian maybe? Who knows? So, let's just go right into it. So the rear tail is, the vertical tail is 2 by 20 millimeters self-tapping button head screws. So no hexes. They've changed the screws and everything. So again, they said though, it's got the notch. So I'm going to turn this thing towards everybody. I'll set up the second camera so everybody can see, and we'll have some fun. But again, it's notched. I like what they're doing here. This is really good. This is really handy because you know you've got a good, solid seating position for the gear. All right, let me get this airplane situated. Set up the camera so everybody can follow along, and we'll go from there. All right, this is nice. We'll move this camera in close. I will have to figure out the screws. I'm just checking my view. Perfect. Let's try not to roll the airplane off the bench. All right. Good stuff. All right, so screws. Does it tell me what I'm dealing with? It's a self-tapping head. I see the thumb screws. I think these are all the same size. 1, 2. I'm not sure what this is for. We'll find out real quick. These are the wing screws, the wing thumb screws, so you can put the wings on and off real easy. There's 4 of those. This is something that they probably should be giving you a spare or 2 of. It just, that's just my pet peeve with stuff like this. The plastic stuff should... I went and I ordered the FMS stuff, a spare FMS stuff right away. This looks like a servo screw, and these are all self-tapping, and these should all be the 20 mils. Putting them on the manual, that looks like the same thing. Yeah, look at that. Okay, that's easy. So they did actually include the picture of the screw this time around. Okay, and I'll show you that to the camera. So there you go. That is what we're talking about. Cool. So 2 of those into the back of the stabilizer. Ooh, and look at this. Unlike the F4, the servo receptacle is right there, easy to get to. So that's not bad at all. Holding this camera in position is not as intuitive as you think. I'm gonna have to put a second display up so I can see where I'm going. All right. So make sure that's in a good spot. Here we go. So it's pretty simple. The screws go in on one side only, and like the F4, slide it in. It's really light without a battery too, the fuselage, and that goes in. Oh, might have to shift it just a tiny bit back. I'm noticing I'm sitting on the rudder. So the rudder is seeing a little bit of contact there. So I'm going to turn that. There you go. Got it. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure. And that is not quite sitting the way I thought it was supposed to sit. That hole is pretty good, but this, yeah, so you do need to put a little bit of pressure down to get it into line on. And you know what? I'm going to throw a battery into the nose right away. Yeah, I agree, Bill. I think this thing is going to have to get some RCF colors eventually. I think the logical thing to do is to fly it with no decals and eventually paint her up and do a search and rescue, a Canadian version of the search and rescue. So maybe even in the orange, because this would paint up real quick. Just peel these guys back or just mask over top of them and just turn it into my own little flare. All right, screwdriver change. All right, let's see if I can pressure these guys into position. All right, nice and gentle. Okay, I won't go in all the way. I'll make sure I get the other part of the tail down. So the only spot I was noticing I had to be careful with, I'll bring the camera over to show you, was when you sink the rudder in, gotta watch this plastic there. That was the only spot I was noticing that I had to be remotely aware of. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy to sit down, because I'm seeing that gap again. A little bit of a gap, a little bit of pressure, pop! Do you hear that? That worked. So a little bit of here, put a little pressure here, a little pressure there, and it sat down really cleanly. Hey, Kevin, have a good day, man. I'm just gonna keep hanging out and having some fun. Afterwards, though, I gotta go get my lunch. It's a blue servo. I'm just noticing back there. I think this one's all Metal Gear. I didn't run off the specs, did I? I just got so excited and opened it up, but the rudder is a blue servo. I'm not used to seeing that in an E-Flite. Okay, want to get my screwdriver in the right position because you know, don't want to stab my new airplane. What's everybody think of the 2 camera setup for the builds? Are we liking this? Does it work? I think it kind of helps in the fact that the main camera's there, but you can still see some of the activity here. Eddie asks how much longer before planes have to be hung in the bedroom. I took a shot, yes. You know what? I was on a really good roll. I sold a couple airplanes. I was feeling good. I think that ME is a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. And then you got Norman, and then, the rack jets and planes are no big deal, but this thing is a whole other level of big. It's going to take a significant amount of parking space. So I'm going to have to think of a plan. Yes, Eddie. Maybe I will put something in the bedroom. I can sleep with this one at night. It's nice and cuddly looking, right? It is a nice looking plane. This might have to come to Flight Fest next year, Eddie. It's I'm liking this thing a lot. Okay, manual. What's number 2? Installing the elevator, and that goes in. You put one of the spars. Wow, look at the size of that spar. All right, so this is the top elevator for this side. Slide it in. Push that all the way through. Find the associated joining hole. And this is the elevator mechanism in the back. So that's not too bad. Feed that piece through. Come on. Just hung up on the plastic, and that's it. There you go. Hey, don't break anything. Whoop. That comes through. Slide that guy through. Some really tight tolerances I'm noticing between the foam and the controls. Let's see if I can do a flip this way. And then we'll get the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. I just want to bump into the radio, so I move the radio. Put the radio back up here. Alright, move the fuselage. There's a big airplane. Yeah. Woo. Woo. All right. So here on the tail section, there we go. Now it's sitting flat. So you see on the tail, the elevator, all these tolerances are really tight. So that's just something to watch for when you're aligning stuff. The plastic on plastic sleeves. And obviously this is the control surface. Controls. That's actually pretty neat how they did it. I'm really liking some of the designs of this aircraft. Let's see if I can reposition this so you can keep watching. Looks good. Great. Awesome. Ow. Spearing myself here. Alright, so just aligning all of this takes a little finesse, a little patience. There you go. Oh, it goes in. That's smooth. Okay, and apparently I should hear a little click. Nope. There you go. That was easy. Oh, there's the click. Okay, that snaps in, and I don't think there are no screws. That's right. This is just a okay. Look at that. It's just a snap mechanism, so you could take the elevator off really easy. 2 screws and the whole rudder system is off. Look at that. That is clever. Clever, clever, clever. Just thread that guy on. Nice carbon spar on the inside. And then this one goes on. Hold it nice and firm. Boom. We have the elevator in. This airplane is going together remarkably quick. Okay. Let's move the skis aside, all that landing gear stuff. Move that all aside for now. Okay. A boot. Yeah. There are a lot of English isms happening. A lot of Canadianisms happening with me. All right, it happens. Woo! I'm liking this thing. Okay, what's next? Flip the manual. Wing assembly. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna go with. So the wings go in. I'm gonna go with the big ailerons and the small flaps for now, and then when and if I change the receiver, we'll mix it up a little bit and have some fun. But I'm gonna keep it stock for now, just for the sake of brevity. I know they showed in the video, the assembly video, that they did the props with the wing on the plane, so I will probably do that just for the sake of having a plane I can hold on to. Okay, so these two little spar pieces go onto the wing. Cargo door. Yes, Eddie, she's got a cargo door. Okay. So the wing joins in to the plane. Okay. So these pieces here are for changing up the joints on the wing. Let me get a wing so I can show you what I'm talking about. And that's if you decide you're changing the construction of the joints. So a aileron center joiner, and then you have a flap joiner. So if you change it up, you use these. I think these are what these plates are for, possibly, but I don't know yet. Let me get a wing. Here it is. Yeah. So if you change it up, you've got spares. Oh, so if you want to do the 3D design flying, you can run. You open up these guys, these ports here. Is everything showing? Yes, I love this. And then you can slide this in and have one singular giant aileron, which would be mental. I guess if you didn't have a multi-channel, if you only had a 4 or 5 channel radio, I don't know why you would, you could get away with that. So that's what these are. So these are going to go back in the Ziploc bag after for storage, and then otherwise it's slide the wing on. Actually, nope, they say to do the props before you put the wing on the aircraft, so we will do that. So this is the left prop, and therefore it is the counter rotating and the spinner and everything. So I was told you should shine this up, but looking at this, a cowl adapter should be just fine on that guy. So interesting. And then I just have to figure out the spinning on it if I get that right. Sometimes you get that wrong. That's the forward. Let's see what they show for the picture here. See if I can get this orientation correct. Hey, Sam. I'm getting one of these. This is why I'm an RCAfterhours diehard fan. Thanks, Bill. Woohoo! We'll mention that to our good friends at Horizon and E-Flite. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy with this one. So we're gonna have some fun. I know you were all hardcore for the C-130, but I think this thing is a whole lot more portable and transportable, and we'll probably have a way bigger enjoyment factor. So I'm just trying to figure out the orientation. I'm looking at the photos here so I can get my orientation on the props. Okay, neat. I'm looking at the motors actually. I can do this here. I can demonstrate this. This is done pretty good. Let's see if I can get the camera in so you can see the connectors for the motors. So the two outers, if I've got this aligned correct. I love this camera setup. So this, okay, so I'm holding opposite wings, but to just demonstrate. The outer points obviously are your power for your ESC, positive and negative, and then you have all the other wing controls, so your aileron, your flap, your lights, and so forth. So that's, and obviously your ESC input controls and stuff. So that is pretty darn clever. I'm impressed with that. That's a connector that'll probably last. I'll probably go and put some like dialect grease if I'm flying this thing in the winter, just so it comes together. But And then obviously I'll do a test to see if it fits in the car, like with the wing on. Obviously it's gonna fit, but if I can keep the wing on, I'm gonna be really happy. All right, I'm just looking at this photo right here to figure out my prop orientation. So, because they should be counter-rotating left and rights, but they're not. I don't see any kind of indication or writing on it of what they are, so I have to go off the picture and look at how they spin. So, the blades are going this way, and it looks like this way. Yep, there we go. So this goes to this wing over here. Done. Okay, we will. I'll move the fuselage out of the way. We'll get the props on, and then we will get this airplane done. This thing will be done really fast. Yep, I like what John said. Well, you know what? I play with all of them. I will build and work with all my other various suppliers, but yeah, this is they've done well. Kudos to E-Flite on this design. It's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a very enjoyable aircraft to partake in. Actually, I'll get the camera back. You can see this stuff. These are more like the turbo style, spinner adapters. So these ones should, and this aircraft, like I said, should stand the test of time based on everything we've seen with twins. There shouldn't be any reason to run into issues. So, all right, we'll spin this guy off. That's my bind cable dropping. I'm gonna put that into the aircraft. All right, and then we got this. Spin that guy on. I'm not gonna worry about balancing this prop right now. Spin that guy on. Nut. Prop. I will probably come back after a flight or two and check that the nut is on and stays on. The C duct, the flight test C duct, I very unceremoniously spun a prop off. I landed the aircraft no problem, but I don't know how much of a floater this aircraft is going to be. All right, let's see if I can find a socket for this. Nope. I don't know if I've got the right socket here. Oh wait, backwards. Still wrong. Nope. Arg. Arg. I might not have the right one in my bench. I'll have to check my field kit. Hold on. I'm just looking for the right nut. And then we can do this real quick. 7 mil. Oh, wait a minute. It's buried. There we go. It is 10 mil, of course. Now, the Horizon guys in the video were using the ratchet. I think I'm just going to go with hand tight. As you can see, I got it in the video. Here, I want to move the plane so you can see this. They stressed this sequence really important. I've got my hand jammed down in here. Is it showing on the camera? Yeah, I'm going to try my best to do this with the camera there. And so, let's go to 3. So, finger. So you've got the vent hole in the bottom, right there, right on the can. So I've got my finger jammed in there, and then I'm just holding the prop. You can already see the prop mark on my hand from doing that. And the idea is you're just gonna set this up, lock everything in place, and then tighten it all down. 10 millimeter, no big deal, not hard to do. I think I've got the orientation correct. We'll find out pretty quick, won't we? So I won't worry about the covers yet, just in case I've got to change that. All right. So look at that. That's pretty. It's pretty aggressive though. But the prop is not going to come off. And then we just slide this bad boy on. Slide it in, no issues, no drama. I'll run the spar through, and then we'll switch to the other. I'll put the other prop on. There you go. All right, other wing, other prop, and put that guy aside. That cover. We'll do this again. Screwdriver. Very simple aircraft to build. I'm guessing all those extra screws besides the rear two are for the landing gear, and I'm not sure what the two smaller screws were. I'm not sure what that little squiggly one was for either, but we'll find out. All right, second wing. This plane's going together way faster than the first one. Yeah, Bill, I probably will cut over to the large flaps and regular ailerons pretty quickly, I suspect. Just because that's what I love doing, and just really slow it down. You can run this airplane on 3S and 4S, which is kind of cool. So I could probably load it up with some really big 3S packs, but I can slow down on a 4S pack just fine, and then you've got the grunt to maneuver out of anything if you get into a situation. So, all right, there's that guy. Then we take the nut, the washer. And again, I'm just gonna jam my my finger in there, slide it up against the prop. There we go. And just use your hand against it, and then get that nice and tight. And that should not slip. And my finger's stuck in there though. Ow! There we go. Okay. Woo! What's up, Horizon Hobby? That's funny. Oh, I love this plane already. I'm really liking this thing. I can just see this consuming my entire winter flying, and that was one of the reasons we looked into it. I looked into it very quickly. Just wanted a really nice winter flying airplane, and that will go on skis, and then like I'm gonna fly this thing all fall. We should not have snow until November, December, and it'll be interesting to see how it fares, how it handles the weather, how it handles transport, how this part up here handles the pressure being put together and taken apart all the time for transport. And then here's some thumb screws that go in. And that's it. 2 thumb screws. Okay, and the thumb screws, I'm just reading this, the shorter ones go in the back. 3mm by 20s go to the front, and the 16s go to the back. So that's just something to note too when you're taking them on and off. Again, I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably end up putting a little bit of paint or something. Paint the washer of the nut piece actually, so I know the 16 versus 20. And gosh, I'll be ordering extra spares of these because you just know that you're gonna miss some. You're gonna lose them somewhere. So again, 20 in the front, and and in the back you've got the 16s. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the foam handles a cold eddy. I mean, my cold is versus, well, yeah, my cold. I fly in some pretty, I've been known to fly in some pretty cold conditions, but this thing is, the quality of it and the color of it is just, is what I was looking for in a nice, it should show up well, it should be visual. There's one screw went in just fine, and just finding their seats. A little bit of pressure on the wing. I like the thumb screws. They're not bad. But guess what? That means I have to take your gloves off in the winter. So that might be interesting. Come on. Okay, I feel it bite in. So just a little bit of downward pressure, and then they bite in, and then they go in. Oh, nice. And that's a wing. And really, and those are hard plastic plates where the screws are, so they're good. And just putting them in nice and tight, or not tight, but just hand tight, and then they're in. Wow. This thing is amazing. All right. Come on. I'm just playing with the alignment of the wing, and then I'm sure it'll just drop in. Also trying not to scar up any of the foam. Too far. Really? Another wing that doesn't want to go on nice. Used to that today, right? Come on, come on, come on. We're so close. And just I gotta bind it up and talk to it and make it fly. Alright, 16 in the back. Okay, there's my 16 now. Come on. This is the hardest part of both airplanes I've found so far. It's just getting these screws to seat in the first time, right? And watch your watch and anything you're wearing against the foam, obviously, so you don't dig it up unnecessarily. Come on, come on. And these are pretty soft, so again, you're going to want to watch that. And I'm just trying to eyeball it in. I can see that I'm off just ever so slightly. Let's see. What can I get in there? Now key might help me. Just to help move it in. Alright, I'm going to move it off, put it back on, try it again. Wings are my nemesis today. I just cannot get them to slide in successfully, can I? Come on, airplane. We're so close. But again, really impressed with everything. This canopy top is neat for the FPV, the nose. I'll fly my... It's probably a really good spot to put the action cam right in the back. I'll send you my skis. I'll never need them. Thanks. I always seem to break a ski or two throughout the winter. On the Bushmill, one of my buddies actually designed and CNC'd something for me, which was really nice because I kept breaking the nose gear. So, all right. So far, I'm 2 for 2. I'm 0 for 2 with these with wings on airplanes. I'm just close, but it's such a big plane to sort of find the leverage against it. But this is something you're going to be want to be mindful of at the field. But I got a feeling once the wing gets a little bit of seat time into the spot, it'll work better. One went on really clean, but this one is just taking a little extra effort. And obviously I'm trying to be real gentle and not crush the foam while I install it. I hold it against the plane. Wedge it in? I don't know yet. I don't know what the answer is. Looking forward to the sexy cargo bay door action. That's what they all say. Thank you, Eddie. That's a good one. Or Bill. We're almost there. Come on. Oh. Another door. Anyhow, I can come back to that. I wonder if it would be easier with the canopy off. No, I don't think there's it's just a matter of leverage. But the Bushmill fit in the car with no without taking the wings off, so I'm kind of excited to see if this will as well. got one. Just takes a little bit of time and patience, people. All right, one. Ha ha ha. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to back it out just a tiny bit, and then we'll find a spot. There's nowhere really to grab either, so you're kind of just, whoa. Did you see that? Oh, man. So be careful with these screws. They are really bendy, and these plastic ones, so they should need a lot of force, so I'm probably overdoing it, but obviously I'm struggling to get them down into the spot. Look at that one. So something to be mindful about, and something I will probably get spares for. I wonder in the winter how that plastic will react to. Come on. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Probably says that the tolerances are pretty tight, and I agree. So, and I don't want to crush anything. Anyhow, I've got one in. I will worry about that, the rest of them after, and we can go through. So basically, at this point, move that camera out of the way. I will leave the props off until I spin that motor up. Where did that go to? It's prop one. I got a bunch of screws left over. Sorry, whack the microphone. And those are most likely for the landing gear. I'm just flipping through all of this. Post-flight tests and check. The floats. Looks like all these other little screws and everything are for the floats. Like I said, I watched that video with the guy shot with Ali and Pete, and this thing on floats looked pretty darn cool. So I think the plastic will break. I suspect too, I'm probably going to be looking at changing that up. Now for the real fun part is me getting that a cable in there so I can bind. So there you go, all these screws and all the other plates and everything. So I confirm these pieces are actually... Yeah, these are for the floats. This is what the float kit mounts to. I'm just looking at the photos. So you pop this in, and then there's a spar or something that the floats will go into. So cool. And then the gear go back in, and the front gear slides in and out. So that answers that question. All right, on to the maybe easier with metal screws. I don't know, because, well, it might be. It might be. What I'm going to do is I'll work on the hole and ease them in. I'm sure it's just a matter of the tolerances being too tight and just not being able to slide it in. But and it's such a big airplane to get my head in over things, so worry about that off camera. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put this cable into the bind port, because I don't see how I'm going to get in there without removing the receiver to make it bind. So sorry, bumping stuff. Tight quarters with a big airplane. All right, let's see with a pair of needle nose if I can align this enough, and if that works, I'll make binding this airplane significantly easier. Oh, I'm almost in there. Come on. And then I'm just going to build the model really quick in the radio, and then we're laughing. All right, come on. Jeez. Tight, tight, tight. Such a big aircraft, yet there's just some nuances to getting a connector into such a tight spot against the side of the fuselage. But if I do this, at least I'll make the binding a little easier. So excuse the reaching. I'm going to move this airplane. I'm going to get it in the position. I'm going to try this, because all I'm trying to do is reach the bind port, which everybody's seen. And then we'll really quickly do a map for the radio and bind it up, and we'll be done. Again, I'll be flying with my Spectrum module on my FR Sky radio, but that's just how I do have, like I said, back there, there is a 6, there is a DX6, and one day maybe I will get another radio and do a Spectrum transmitter, at least a minimum of like an 8 or 9 channel, but for now, I like the idea that was suggested though of putting an iNav into this thing eventually. That would be kind of fun because then you could like set up a loiter mode and just, you know, but I'm going to fly this thing, fly it hard. I suspect this thing will be a bit of a workhorse, especially if I can like go in and put the Mamba in the front, the back seat of the car, and this thing goes into the trunk. Tweezers. Yeah, that's what I'm trying, Eddie. Got my needle nose pliers in there and just trying to bend the cable into a spot. Like, hold on here. There's the bind port. Honestly, they could have just put a cable in there and saved a lot of work. That, or I unstick it and reglue it, but I don't want to do that. Anyway, 2 seconds of work and it will be done. I say that about everything I've been doing today. Buttons for the win. Yes, yes, yes. But even then you're trying to like press a button, power the receiver up and everything. It's like you always need a third hand to do a bind protocol, no matter how much you have. Oh man. And it's actually not a problem getting the receiver. There's a lip right on the top of the where the canopy sits. I'm almost there. Almost there. Yay! Got it. Cool. We're in business. Okay, so radio. Let's do a model. Let's build a model really quickly on my FR Sky.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Probably turn it the other way when I do this part. Okay, let's do. All right. Great. Cool. We can see this. All right, we're gonna do this way. Create a model. Let's see if I can get my hands in there. All right, it's a plane. It has a motor, yes, but we're gonna move this to. Oh, shoot! I got that wrong. All right, I'll fix that after. Ailerons are on channel 2. You have one channel. Hang on, channel 2. Okay, that's great. And then go page next. Does this model have flaps? Yes, they're on one channel, and the flaps are on channel 6. Yep. Okay. So channel 6. Okay. Page. Does it have brakes? No. All right. Page. All right. Now you have the rudder, and the rudder should be on. The rudder will be on. That's a really good question. Put the manual. I forget. Where is it? Here we go. And where are my setups? Ah, here we go. Got the page. Cargo doors on 5. Throttle is 1. 2 is your ailerons. 3 is your elevator. 4 is your rudder. Okay, great. All right, back at it. All right. So we sign the elevator is on channel 3. Okay. Then rudder's on 4. Okay. Page. Great. I'm gonna fix that throttle one right away. I'm gonna go in now. Oh, whatever. Page. I'll do this real quick. EC-1500. Alright, whatever. Worry about all this other stuff after. Okay, fine. 15 is great. I don't worry about all that stuff. And I gotta go in and change my receiver. It is now an external module. Oh. Turn that off. We go external module. DSM. We switch over to that. max. And then I'll, yeah, receiver. I think I'll do 10. That should be okay. Nope, something's already on that one, so we'll go down to 9. Great. Perfect. His binding. Great. I'm going to put this way. I'm going to move my radio out of the way. Throttle is down. Oh, wait. I didn't change the throttle. That would have been bad. All right. Throttle. Let's move the throttle away. Move 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now. There we go. So throttle on 1, 2 is aileron, 3 is elevator, 4 is rudder, and 5 I will program the door after, which is easy enough to do. Cool. All right. What's everybody saying? Loud hum. For some reason, sorry. Yeah, that's right. It's the transmitter module on the microphone. I will move this stuff over here. All right. Bear with me for a minute there. All right. Camera 1. We'll go into bind. Now, normally I would never, ever do something like this with damn big props on it. But what I'll do is I'll spin the aircraft around. That way, if it does anything, it goes that way. I'll try and keep the transmitter away. Yes, there's going to be hum and noise and everything. I'll put the transmitter in a different spot. Yeah, I probably will, actually. You're quite correct. It shouldn't be that hard to spin them on the airplane either. I'll probably go and put a marker on them after two, left and right, for identification. And this pin, I figured out what this is too. This is for when you swap the gear for the servo, when you do the floats and everything. So I'm going to put this in here, pop that in there, pop that in there. Great. Okay, props are off. There. No one hearing the radio anymore? Okay. Put her in the bind. Where's the bind plug? Woo! Okay. I got the radio down low so no one's going to see it. All right. Chish. I'll do that. Cool. Now you should be able to see the whole bind process. So put the radio into bind. Okay. Lights are flashing. Blinky, blinky. All right. Radio goes into bind. Actually, reboot that. Okay. Radio's in bind mode. Let's see if this works. Come on. I might be too close, huh? Beep, beep, beep. All right, try this again. I don't know if I had it the first time. All right. We'll try it. We'll reboot the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Oh. Silly me. Bind plug would be useful, right? Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna recycle the whole thing. Okay. Bind plug is in. Flashy flashy. Boot up the radio.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Fascinating. It's not booting. That's a first for this thing. Hmm. Wonder if it's the cable. Alright. Well, never simple, huh? Alright, try. Maybe this cable wasn't seated all the way in. Yeah, I wonder, Eddie. I'm wondering if it's the receiver. So, like the bind plug. So I'm gonna try and do it just manually, or put this guy in and go from there. Maybe that cable I used was no good. It's very possible. But of course, now I have to fiddle in a impossibly tight spot for such a big airplane. Oh man, killing me. Why couldn't we have a cable that would do this? Why does it have to be a tiny little plug? And of course, because it's the stabilizer, right? You don't want to pull it out. You don't want to move it without having to re-stick the whole thing. And it's supposed to be simple. All right, it's in. All right. Now we do this. I had no issues binding with the receiver in the other plane. So who knows what's going on? It's not in bind mode, eh? Interesting. So why would it not be going into bind mode? Oh, I wonder. Okay, because this has got safe. I wonder if I have to turn safe off. Okay. Alright, so I think that's what's going on. We're probably getting stuck in the whole safe versus safe off thing. Okay. This would probably make sense. Test with the DX. No, it's not even that. I think it's the switching on and off on the bind. I think that's what's going on right now. So install. So I want the switching off safe. Alright, so I don't want any of that. I don't need that. So what you do is the bind. Transmitter receiver, safe on, safe off, select, bind and fly. Alright, so the safe off selection. So install. So to do that, move the transmitter controls to neutral, throttle and low. Install bind plug into receiver. And then place aircraft on its wheels. Connect batteries to receiver. Orange LED on the receiver will begin to flash rapidly. Do not remove bind plug at this time. Take 3 steps away from the receiver. Aircraft to the receiver. Put the transmitter into bind mode. Okay. And keep away from metal objects and binding. So maybe the cameras and everything. Okay. Well, I don't know. Remove bind plug from port. Alright, folks. We'll try that. Alright. So, we'll try this. So, bind plug is in. Transmit, then remove the bind plug. Alright, whatever. That's going to be a pain in the ass to get out again. I just swore. Not frustrated. Alright, move transmitter to neutral. Alright. Place aircraft on, so... Place aircraft on wheels. Then connect battery. Orange LED. Take 3 steps away. Put transmitter in. So the transmitter is on, but not in bind mode. Okay. Let's try it. I'll put it away. Maybe I'm too close. That's happened before, too. Alright. I don't think it's the camera. Alright. I'm over here.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Hickey! Oh, damn it. Dropped all my stuff. Okay, and of course I know nothing about binding on these things. It's funny. Alright. Battery's full. That was something that was just asked to me. I'm kind of perplexed because I bound to the Havoc with no issues last night. So, must be RX if it doesn't want to get into bind mode. Maybe the bind pin is bad? It's hard to say. It was in there. Do I try a different bind cable? That's a possibility. Maybe that's what I'll do. We'll try a different bind cable. Of course, I don't have it here. I moved it. Where did I put my other bind cable? I had it out. Yep, we'll try a different bind cable and see if it's if that's the issue. It could be the cable itself. It's hard to say. All right, see if we can squeeze this guy in. I'm gonna put the extension back in because if I'm going in and out, it's just gonna make this job easier today. Alright, that cable's in. We'll try this again. Let's see if it goes into a flash bind, a fast bind. Yeah, the radio is off and the bind process isn't going. Can I do this on a different channel? Actually, hold on here. I've got, funny enough, folks, I've got Horizon. Horizon's pinging me and telling me stuff. Yeah, as you can see, I've just done another cable, another process. Can I bind on another channel? Okay, hold on. And I have... Yeah, if it's not going flashing fast, obviously it's something about the receiver. Another port, another servo port or whatever. But, so... That's unfortunate. I pull that bind cable out. Maybe the pin is bad on the other end. Oh, that's tight. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And there's no difference in the flashing. The flashing stays the same. We go back to the original bind cable. I'm just going to make sure this thing is super well seated. There could be one of the pins could be damaged. It's hard to tell. Okay, I'm going back to the stock pin. And now we plug this guy in. And we wait. And no flashing any different. So, unfortunately, I think this receiver might not be working, which is really unfortunate. I've tried different bind pins, so yeah. That's really unfortunate. Pulling everything out and bind. Horizon's actually being super cool. Thanks, Pete. I'll try and pull. At this point, I'm going to pull up the receiver, and we're going to see what we can tech it out. Why not? A live tech show now. A live test and go. I'm going to pull the throttle out of one. I guess if I pull the throttle, we can try and bind on the throttle or whatever. I'll put in a, I'll plug in a my back and power it that way versus from the receiver from the ESC. All right, so my fingers are in there. There's the throttle. So what we're gonna do now is I'm going to get my UBEC. I'm gonna pop that in there and plug that in. I'm gonna try and bind on the, we'll try and bind on the throttle channel, I guess. So what I'll do is I'll pull the flaps, and put power to the receiver through the flap channel, and then I'll try and do a bind on channel 1, and we'll see on the throttle channel and just see if that works. Well, that's really unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. The one positive thing is they stand behind their products. Bindfest 2019. Yep, thank you, sirs. Yeah. Oh well, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, in the meantime, I will go. You know what I'll do is I'll go grab one of my 7-channel receivers, my FR Sky receivers, and we'll make it work. Okay. So what I've done is I've got the power now coming off channel 6 instead of the ESC, and same deal. Slow flash with the bind plug into 1. So that doesn't happen. Sounds like we got a bad receiver. I'm going to go see if I've got another Spectrum receiver just so we can confirm, and we'll go from there. So everybody stay where you are. We're going to have some fun. We'll figure this thing out. Be right back. All right, FR Sky receiver, but I want to find another Spectrum just so I can show the bind actually works, because like I said, I bound up with the other stuff and no problem. I'm just trying to think of what's got a receiver in it that I can rip out real fast. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I've got a, it's only a 610, but whatever. The point is I'll be able to demonstrate that this thing will bind up just so we know. Bind cable, power, just so I can demonstrate that the third thing actually works. Alright, so bind. It could be any number of factors attributing to this. Where's their bind plug? Oh, RS says to unplug everything. Okay, why not? You know what? We're this far in. Let's go for it. And I'm just trying to. All right, so I'm going to unplug everything. And we'll have some, we'll try it. We'll unplug all the receivers. But I just want to do a bind test on this guy, just to prove that I can actually bind with something with this module. But this is an offer. All right. This has got the right shape now. There we go. Okay, so that guy's in. And I'll apply power. And it goes into bind mode. Up. Come on. That one's backwards. Okay, hard to see, but it's got a solid light. It's not in bind mode. Alright, this is the receiver I have bound to before, so. Oh, wrong model. I don't have anything to test this with, though. I have a servo or anything that's plug into. That's funny. Oh, let's try this again. Here, I'll steal the nose gear off this airplane. Yeah, that's the ticket. Put that into rudder. Just testing ideas out and everything, and then I'm just going to throw it in FR Sky receiver and carry on. This receiver is annoyingly useless. It's got a really weird. Oh, it's got the old plug set. That's why I'm having issues getting anything to plug into it. Alright, there. So now, turn the radio off, plug in. Alright. Okay, now I got a flashing light on that receiver, fast flashing light on that receiver. Alright. I've got the rudder, the nose gear, servo hooked in. Can we see that? Can you guys see the flashing? Yes, great. Turning my radio on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Bind. And light went out. And now if I pull the bind cable, or pull power, pull the cable, plug it back in, shooter went through, probably too close. Oh, clearly did it wrong. Well, this has turned into a bit of a undesirable path. Oh well. Like I said, we'll plug in the, I'll just strap in the FR Sky receiver and we'll carry on and make sure everything works. And then hopefully we'll resolve the binding off air. rather than tie up any more build time. Anyhow. I'm just curious because it's the first time I've had this kind of issue, because the other night, like I said, I had the Havoc up and running and it was awesome. Alright, so that one's in. We'll do this one more time with feeling. Okay, so this is now plugged in. I should have flashy flash. Alright, I'm going to go step away, bind. Flash, flash, flash. It should go stable. There we go. Okay. See? Proven. Good. So I'll pull the bind plug, and this one should lock in. So I'll try this over the receiver one more time, but there. So it's not a binding procedure, all right? it's the receiver. Okay, so we'll do one more test for giggles, and we'll see from there. Maybe, like I said, maybe the pin, and I can't see that from here. Maybe the pin is bent inside, and that's why the bind procedure isn't working. Okay, I feel a little better about that. So okay, so we'll put this guy aside for now. And we'll see if we can get a few things to reconnect. And we'll try this one more time. That proves it's not the bind plug. It just proves it's something in here. And I can't really see in there based on how it's set up. But we'll put power into one. And we'll put the bind plug into one. And we'll see if it goes to fast again. Now do it on all the other one. Laugh on that. Well, that's what I'm going to try. So, alright, so we'll put the blind plug in. And this is the stock blind plug again. I've got a couple others sitting around. Which, like I said, surprised me. But like, if I put power to it, well, there is no power to this thing right now. It shouldn't matter where it's going to get its power. So throttle is moved aside. Put the blind plug in there. You never know. Like I said, that plug could be... The plugs look good from here, so who knows? Turning off our transmitter. Of course, I'm trying to cram my hands into like this tiniest spot. Anyhow, we'll try this one more time, and then otherwise I'm going to drop in an FR Sky receiver, and we're going to go and enjoy this beautiful aircraft. Okay, it's in. I'm going to put the power into channel there. Okay, and we'll see what happens. I don't even need to be in channel 1. And receiver is in slow bind. So it must be something with the receiver. So... Alright, I wonder if I put the bind plug into another channel, just for fun. And then power into another channel. Something happened, obviously, and fortunately means, okay, and slow bind as well. Oh well, we tried. Give it our best. Let's move on. Okay. So what I'll do is I will map, since I've mapped this already out, I will simply put the receiver in. I'm going to actually, I'm going to plug this guy in. I'm going to bind it real quick, and we're going to move on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
And what I'll do is I will I'll mimic the setup. So we'll have have to have power. I'm all distracted now. I'll mimic the setup, so I'll put the throttle on 1 and everything, so I don't have to change anything in the radio. I just move the equipment around. We'll just run with this receiver for now. Too bad. All right. That should have bound. All right. Unplug. Plug it in. 1, 2, 3. And green. Green light. We're good. Yay. Brian, you rock, dude. Yeah, if you missed it earlier, Horizon spotted, Pete from Horizon, who's their videographer, spotted the issue. It looks like it's probably a bad receiver. What I'll do is I'll pluck the receiver out after this, but for the meantime, we're going to get this bad boy installed. We're going to make this thing purr, okay? That's our goal at this point. I'm not worried about it. You know, that's the beautiful thing about having a good warranty package and a good manufacturer. It's just unfortunate. I mean, I bought the plug and play because I wanted to get it right away. So, all right, let's do this real quick. This one is up. So throttle. And when I do get them all out, I will try. I will try the suggestion of rebinding with all the elements out. But for now, we're just going to pull everything one at a time. Okay, ailerons goes into 2. Of course, I'm undoing all this nicely wired stuff. Flaps come last. Ailerons go into 2. No big deal. That's the one thing about the hobby that I learned early on. It was tough in the very beginning. I mean, it was really tough in the beginning when you had something go wrong and you didn't have the means or the resources to overcome it. You were just kind of stuck. But as you go through the hobby, you learn. Be patient. You know, there's no point in getting upset when something doesn't show up in time and everything. So that's just me maturing as I went through it. All right, elevator. Rudder into 4. All right. And then I got to program the door for 5. And then cargo door. You never know. It could also be like, it could be an inverted, something could not be connecting somewhere, causing a loop, a feedback loop, and therefore the receiver isn't running correctly. We talked about that with the yak. Who knows? We'll find out in a couple minutes. Maybe because I don't have this down, it could be doing something wrong, but we'll find out here in a second. I'm going to program this guy up, plug it in, and here we go. All right. So, cool. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So, I don't think I have a throttle lock set. All right. So, ailerons inverted. All right. Channel 1. Channel 2, sorry. Oh. Gotta flip that. Let's go to the white screen here. Been on that other screen for too long. Okay. Went by it. Servos. Alright. Channel 2. I'm off my game now. Okay, channel 2. Okay, flaps. I don't have flaps assigned to a switch yet. Elevator up, down, good. That checks out. And then rudder, right to left. That's correct. Good. Yay. Okay, so let's program flaps on channel 6. Why is that not throwing, huh? It's because I didn't put it on a switch. That's why. Alright, 5 is going to be my cargo door. I guess I'll just do my cargo door off my gear switch, which is this guy over here. So let's do door. Door. I'm just going to do over for now. Source, and then source is going to be this. Okay. And then, Okay, that should be on my channel 5. Yes. Oh, I see. I skipped it. Haha. That's the problem. It's not that it's not working, it's just I'm on my wrong channels. So, I was looking at, there's no bump. Now, there you go. There's the cargo door. And the flaps will get programmed into channel 6 on the throw. There you go. They've just got to be thrown to their switch though. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's do the flaps here. And the flaps they had set edit to, there you go. I just got to invert that. 1, 2, flap. Oof, gotta program those rates. That's not, well, look at that. We don't want that. I'll have to program that to be correct. Alright, and now the door. I'll just do that really quick. Okay, door. Great. And then gotta throw the rates on that one. Woo! Look at that. Can you see that from here? Can you see that? Yes. Yeah. Gotta program that a little tighter, so that'll be little throws on the servos and everything. Same thing with the ailerons. Alright. Cool. We're overcoming crew issues. Nothing big. Alright, cargo door, stand by. I'm going to program the rates on that one, obviously, because it's just flapping away. But let's just do this way. We'll throw the battery into the cargo bay on the front. Let's go 1. Move the stuff around. Clean up all that receiver. I'm going to try the bind after here in a second, actually. We'll turn everything off, and we'll just see if I can bind into it. But, cargo door, ready. Alright. Oh, we'll do it on the main cam. Can we see it? Alright. We'll hold this thing up. Ooh. Try. Oh, I can do it from the tail. Alright, Bill. Ready? So, look at that thing. It's actually got a ramp on the side and everything, so running cars out of it or cargo would be cool. So I'll have to tweak that up, and then obviously tune the flaps as well, because they're good down, but then they're up. So I got to go and just program them into a radio. Next to what probably the amendment was about. And then CG is right along the spar, 56 to 75 back from the leading edge, which is probably right along the spar. I don't think it any marks, but I'll measure all that up, everything, and try it out. But whoops! But there we go. Okay, so while we're on the receiver thing, one more time, and I'll put the props on. I don't have any throttle lock set or anything like that right now, so let's do that real quick. That way there's no risk. Special functions. Override channel 1, minus 100. There we go. Great. Let's put the props on real quick, spin it up, and then I'm going to try and I'll try and rebound to that other receiver after. Just for the fun of it. All right. Fingers, and then yeah. We'll turn it around, we'll do a spin up, and we'll see if I got the props on the right sides. It's always a possibility of that not occurring. Where did that wrench go? There it is. Alright, these go in the bag, and then I'll have to decide on the ailerons versus flaps. I think the bigger flaps might win out in the end, especially for short takeoffs and landing in the winter. So again, sorry. Again, you gotta get your finger jammed in there. Keep the flaps reflex. Alright, there you go. Hand and holding it. Get the fingers jammed in there. I like getting holding the back plate and getting the finger in on the can, and just a really good turn. And they're on. Okay. Now. Okay, I'm going to turn this thing around, point it towards you guys. clear everything from the prop blast. Love this canopy. Well, it wasn't meant to be a marathon live stream, but we're on 4 hours. But I guess that's what happens when we're doing tech work and just working through some minor issues. But whatever, we're almost done. As soon as we run this thing up, I'll finish it off. I'll put the motor caps on. I'll bind off here. I'll fiddle around with it. I'll give my buddies a good catch, good call. But hey, huge kudos on the boys from Horizon for popping in and commenting on it. So I appreciate that. I guess really, if I had a full-on Spectrum receiver, we could have diagnosed it a little bit better. But you know, there are budget limitations for everybody. Correct? Okay, keep the reflex. All right. Whew, are we ready to try this out? Man, this... Oh, gosh. This is awesome. I can't wait to take this upstairs and show my wife and say, look what you got me for my birthday. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. All right. All right. Ready? We'll find out if we got this right. Gonna have to balance those props. You can already see, and this guy's needing to be strapped down anyhow, but okay. Whoops. You'll enjoy that shot. Wow. That's what happens when the props aren't on tight enough. Wow, shredded the manual. Ooh, good grief. You know, maybe I should stop with a good skill. The going is good. Wow, that shot off good. What a day. What a day. That went right past the camera. That's awesome. Let's pull this. A little bit more torquing required on those props. Well, the prop looks okay. Oh, a little bit. No, it's just paper. Oh, man. Just have one of those days, guys. I shouldn't be doing anything RC related, maybe. Look at the paper. That's funny. Oh, well. And that's why, and they said that in the, and that thing is tight. So I think I will go back. One of the suggestions I received was to put a little sandpaper on the collet. So that's interesting that you don't get enough bite. Oh, that was epic. That was epic. Wow. My manual is shredded. Where did that screwdriver, that wrench go? I must have fallen down in the breeze, but glad I was pointing that way and it didn't go anywhere. Well, I'll put that on. We'll wrap the show and then call it a day because obviously I don't want anything crazy else happening. And good idea to run this thing up outside. But woo! I'm not the only one. Yeah, I know, Brian. Yep. Where did my wrench go? That's crazy. Good to know. We'll figure that one out. I think I'll read up some stuff, but that's interesting. I've never had one spin off, but it must be the opposite rotation because that one's going in. Didn't hit the plane or anything, at least. It just shredded the manual really well. Man. Awesome. Oh well. Put that aside. All the day's work. I just don't know what happened to my wrench, so unfortunately I can't put this thing. There it is. I put it away. Interesting. I torqued the crap out of that too. Oh well. C'est la vie. No big deal. I will come back. I'll do a little sanding under there, and I'll see if I can get that in. Maybe use the torque wrench as they suggested, just the small ratchet, because that is on with a significant amount of force. Interesting. Your blood sugar should be good now. It's the heart rate that's up, man. Oh well. All in good fun. No harm, no foul. Just I had that happen. What else I had that happen on? The Dynam, the FW190. Woof. That was a big. That's a big prop as well. But no damage to the prop at least. But I was noticing a little bit of vibration on the one on the right. Yeah, the right side prop. So, all right, get my finger in there, jam the thing, hold it down, and hopefully we don't have a repeat. Oh, that's on. All right. I know I shouldn't bother latching this one down if I've got to go balance it, but yeah, that had some spin to it. Let me go around the camera, do it that way, and put the cap on. I still got to adjust that wing. Well, that's been an interesting morning, I have to say. Okay. So there we go. Lessons learned. Double check on that. Pressure. Make sure those things are super tight because that went far. Probably. At least you weren't standing any closer. Well, it shot straight off, and that was something they said in the Horizon video when you're checking it and you're spinning it up. Stand, put the props because it will go forward and away. And it just went over and attacked one of the RC trucks. That's all. I went after the Lucy, I think. So you pop on your caps. I think this one goes there. Yeah, this one goes to this side. I'll push all those on afterwards. And yeah. Oh well. Some minor technical issues. That's unfortunate. And otherwise, at least we know the stream is solid. So cool. I'll set up the radio. I got to figure out this back, getting the back wing mount in nice and tight without, like, where do you grab? And without, ripping something apart or leaning on a servo. So I'm not 100% sure how to do that. Oh, that might have worked. Yeah, so there are some minor fiddly little things about the aircraft, but overall I'm still happy about it. Oh, these screws. Yeah, I don't know about these boys. And these might just end up needing to be switched for something a little bit more solid that doesn't require so much pressure. Come on. Alright, I just got it, but I had to pull on the wing and seat it. I'm not running these up inside. I'll do that at the field, but I'll bring my wrench with me, and then I'll put the caps on and everything. So, I mean, this will fly. I'll tweak the ailerons. I'll tweak the elevators. All the settings have to be programmed in. Still got to do the door. And then obviously the flaps because they're popping up, but that was an amendment in the manual. And overall, though, outside of some of the minor little things like the screws, really, outside of the receiver not binding up and the and looking into the motor prop issue, this thing looks freaking awesome. So doing stuff live may be the problem. I don't know. Either way, it would have meant that I would have to sit there and edit a video like crazy. So, but overall, there we go. So 2 crazy builds. Probably didn't go as smoothly as we thought it would, but Ooh, look at that plane. I'll play with that receiver and see what I can come up with. Let's see. Put that guy there. We'll go get the F4, put that on the bench. We'll finish off the show. Is there going to be enough room? Is there going to be enough room? I don't know. I don't think there's enough room for all of these planes. Huh. No parking space. There we go. Got it. Well, that was mental. Again, witnessing the prop going flying off during the show is probably uncool, but hey, at least we know it's you just got to torque those things down. Use the ratchet instead of just hand tightening it. Obviously, it needs to be done. You should put your wife's name on the lows. Yeah, I'm not naming my plane Laura. Sorry. There you go, folks. That was like a 4-hour live build session. We got to see how the F4 from her E-Flite comes along, and obviously how the EC-1500. Again, wing fitment issue with the F4, minor. Just take your time putting it in. Same deal with this guy. Once I got pushed on the side of the wing and everything, it seemed to go in and outside of the ESC. Not the ESC, the receiver issue, which will be fixed. Yeah, just like I said, I'm gonna put my little ratchet set into my toolbox. I'll probably order a spare set of props just in case, and think I'll check the balance on them too to make sure they're all snug. Like I said, one suggestion was to sand the collet adapters a little bit just so they're not so slippery. Other than that, freaking amazing day. Just bigger bench. No, Bill, I don't think I need a bigger bench. I just need a bigger house and garage hangar. Yeah. So thanks for everybody. Brian, thank you again. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I'll put that towards the bigger battery fund. Again, gonna knock out the CG, set up the radios on both airplanes, everything, but at least we heard them spin up. The jet was less dramatic than the crazy flying prop on the Monster Twin. But once again, there's a big, beautiful high wing twin airplane in the fleet with fixed gear. So winter workhorse definitely going to be there. So again, thanks for hanging out for the show, and have a fantastic weekend. I'll probably work on this stuff later on this evening and get them out flying. Toot sweet. So thanks for watching.